Superior Fence and Rail has a reputation for reliability.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Lauren Brooks for 1010XL. According to reports, 4 of the Florida players suspended for credit card fraud are now participating in team activities and will begin off-season workouts tomorrow. Those players are running back Jordan Scarlett, wide receiver Rick Wells out of Rains High School right here in Jacksonville, and linebackers James Houston and Ventrell Miller. In college basketball, Florida backup center Gorjak Gak has been cleared from concussion protocol and will be available for Florida's game against South Carolina tomorrow night. JU is back at home tomorrow night at Swisher Gym playing host to Stetson, and you'll hear the game on 10:10 a.m. tipping off at 7 o'clock. Stay tuned for Helmets and Heels built by Dream Finders Homes. That'll take you up until 9 o'clock, followed by Hacker After Dark until midnight. That's all next, right here on 1010XL.
Local sports on Jacksonville Sports Station 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes, is presented by Underwood Jewelers and American Window Products on 1010XL. Now your hosts, Lauren Brooks, Donna Murphy, and Blythe Brumleve.
Good evening, ladies. Sad face for Blythe, happy face for Donna. Although it does pain me that anyone in this building was happy on Sunday night. If we had to do our show last night, I might have cried during the show.
I wouldn't have done it.
I was watching the All Access that Brent Martineau hosts with Calais Campbell, and I had tears in my eyes again. And Brian said, come on, you got to get over it. I'm like, I will. I gave myself till the end of this week, and then I have to move on. But until then, I'm not over it. As everybody already knows, the Jaguars could not hold on to a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter, but one of the most amazing seasons in franchise history we got to witness this past season. The Patriots yet again advanced to the Super Bowl. Blythe, I'll start with you. Was that the worst loss you've ever suffered as a fan?
I mean, it's tough because I think there's varying levels of losses. To me, last year's loss to the Raiders in 2016, in the 2016 season, was far worse than, well, I don't know. That loss made me angry just because we were, sort of build another sort of, I guess, a marketing campaign is the best way to put it. And where the Jags are back, it's built. Gus Bradley's leading the ship. This is year 3 or year 4 or whatever it was with Gus Bradley, and that we had all these expectations, and then we faced up against similar competition in the Raiders, and they're on a similar rebuilding plan, and they just demolished us. And then a few days later, the Tennessee Titans embarrassed us on national television on that Thursday night game, and that whole week was just crushing because the season was over in October. This time around, it's like this. We were so close. We were up 20-10, 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter against arguably the 2 Goliaths in NFL history, and we had them on the ropes, and Brady did his thing and came back and won, and it was. I still haven't really put it all into perspective yet. I was on the drive here trying to think of what I was going to say, and I don't know exactly what to say about this loss except for it just sucks.
Donna, you are on the opposite side, but I have a feeling that you had at least certainly an understanding of what Jaguars fans were going through.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't take pleasure in everybody's misery.
That means you're a good person, not an evil one.
Right. It's not fun to come in here and work and then everybody snarl at you and be like, I hate your team, I hate you. I'm like, I had nothing to do with this, and I apologize. So it wasn't like, it probably would have been, I would say, more joyful if maybe I was in the New York market and that happened. I would walk around and say, yeah, that's right, but no. I mean, it turned out either way. I was happy that a team that I liked was going to the Super Bowl anyway.
So for the 2016 season, after basically September, Amanda Borges took the job to go up to New York, and that's when 1010 offered me the position. So I started covering the Jaguars in October, really starting November of last season, and it was awful, right? I covered one win at Everbank Field as a Jaguars reporter last season, one. And then this year, on the flip side, professionally, by far the most fun I have ever had. It was such a treat to get to come in here and talk about this Jaguars team, to get to watch them up close, starting from training camp all throughout. And yeah, none of us predicted this, right? Yeah, maybe in the locker room, Marone knew that he had a special team, but none of us predicted anything close to this.
6 wins.
Right, and Vegas obviously didn't either. Yet, we all forgot about all that as soon as the Jaguars beat the Bills and we're staring down the Pittsburgh Steelers, and everyone realized the Jaguars have a chance to get to the AFC Championship game and have a chance to knock off Brady and Belichick. It doesn't matter that it wasn't expected. What mattered was that it was in front of you. And the way that this city embraced this team, the way that people who haven't been necessarily huge Jaguars fans have always supported the team, loved the fact that there's an NFL team in the city. All of a sudden, we're going crazy. I love that now on Saturdays, we're all divided, right? People even within the same household may be divided on Saturdays in college football. But on Sundays, everyone you know was cheering for the same team. And it was magical. And I didn't want it to come to an end. I was ready to literally start packing for a trip to Minneapolis. And it's all over in that 10-minute span when Tom Brady comes and marches down the field and converts crazy third downs and hits Amendola in the back of the end zone with Gibson kind of just staring at him. It all crushingly came to an end. And I really can't put into words the disappointment that I feel, not just for myself and for the radio station, but for those players. For those guys who yesterday had to go in the locker room, clean out their lockers knowing they were that close to a victory and a Super Bowl. And the guys especially who won't be back on this team next year, for instance, if Aaron Colvin doesn't come back, knowing how close he was with that secondary, and he may never again get to play with those guys, that's when really my heart broke for them.
It's all the little stuff, too, that you don't even really think about. It's like, well, what am I going to do this weekend? I'm usually slam-packed on Saturday, planning for the kickoff show, and then the kickoff show on Sunday, and then your entire weekend revolves around the Jaguars. And even, tonight's Frangie show with 0-0, that's the last 0-0 that we'll have until the season starts. It's like you spend all this time, preparing for football season and having it as a central part of your life, and then when you're one of just a few teams that continues to still that you still get to play and you still get to watch your team, it's so exciting. And to see the city, and to sort of echo your statement, Lauren, to see all of the businesses, even the JTA buses, when they have their stops listed, they have a Go Jaguars in between, and all the businesses with the signs on the outside, they have Go Jags and Duval till we die, and you start to see the media broadcasts that start to have their own additional promos and social media and all that good stuff. This is the first time that the Jaguars have been good in the social media age, and so to really see and to really grasp how many businesses and just casual fans hopped on is something that, as a fan base, I think that a lot of the hardcore fans have wanted for a very long time.
And I know how Jaguars fans feel about the officiating in that game. Don, I want to get your perspective. Obviously, only one penalty called on the Patriots, but there haven't been a lot of penalties called on the Patriots even since December. So that part's not an anomaly. It is a well-disciplined football team. What did you think about the officiating Sunday?
There was obviously a couple questionable calls, but you cannot walk away from this and say, well, we lost it because of the officiating. And those fans that are out there that are crying and saying we lost because of the officials, you need to stop. And the picture that's going around on social media with the ref in the middle of the touchdown. Yeah.
That started right away with
How about you get the whole picture of that one? Because I believe it was Miles Jack who was tackling a Patriots player while they were already in the end zone. And so the refs came to separate them. And so one was in there, and then the other one, which conveniently got left out of the photo. No,
that's a screen grab culture.
Yeah. So just feel free. There was a lot of mistakes made. Feel free to know when the clock is ticking down. Feel free to not kneel when you have 2 timeouts and plenty of time to try to go down the field.
55 seconds before the half.
And the defense just did not show up in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So,
3rd and 18.
I think it's astounding if you do look at some of the screenshots. I know Pete Prisco a few minutes ago tweeted out a picture where Patrick Chung is clearly holding on Mercedes Lewis. And obviously that last play where Dion Lewis gets the 8 yards that the Patriots need, and Telvin Smith is clearly being held. And so there are those things that are, anytime you lose, are always going to resonate.
Right.
And you're going to go back to in
That's
your
not
mind.
why the Jags lost.
Except the Miles Jack early whistle, which has
Okay.
happened to the Jaguars 3 times this season.
Fine.
That they've blown
But you know
early
what didn't
whistles.
happen? They didn't reverse the call, and the ball didn't stay with New England.
It should
The
have.
Jags got the call.
Yeah.
And you know what they did? They went 3 and out. Feel free to go down the field and score.
But they would have scored on that play.
it doesn't matter. You
does
still
matter.
had the ball. You had the chance to go down and score.
I understand that, but on that particular play, that is a direct result of the ref impacting that play. In that particular play, a touchdown would have been scored if the ref hadn't blown his whistle early, which they're taught not to do. That's happened to the Jaguars 3 times this season.
And
Yeah,
the
that
problem I have with that is you still had the ball. So the offense didn't show up on that drive.
Well, we've known all season that this team, that the defense has to score at least once in order to make an impact. And if in that instance, if Miles Jack is scored and the whistle isn't blown, then it's a 27-10 game, and that's a completely different ball game, completely different play calling, and likely a different outcome.
Yeah. Well,
I think the delay of game hurt the Jaguars more than anything else as far as the penalties, call or non-call, are concerned. And that was self-inflicted, especially right after a timeout.
And even holding calls. You can call a holding call on every single play.
Sure.
Holding and PIs, to me, are almost, you should expect them every single game.
like something I told you guys last week is the preparation, and I learned this in Do Your Job Part 2. They study all of the referees' games that year. This crew, so you can say whether or not that's cheating. I don't know what
That's
you
not
want to call
cheating,
it.
that's prep.
It is preparedness. That's what they do, and so they know what they can get away with and what they can't get away with.
Well, and what's interesting to that, Clete Blakeman is the lead official, but he has a different crew. The playoffs, they always change it up. It's not the regular
It's
crew.
reward-based.
So then that means that the Patriots have been studying not just the lead
All of
officials
them.
crew, but the linemen's every single games that they've called and things like that. It is easy to point to the officials because it was lopsided when a team only gets called for one penalty and there's clear evidence that there were other ones.
I don't think it's ever happened in the AFC Championship Game that large of a discrepancy. But that also could speak to the discipline or the lack thereof of this Jaguars team.
Yeah, I think that it certainly was far more than that. The Jaguars defense, the star unit of this team, was not able to get the job done. Whether you want to say the offense should have been able to do more at certain times, sure. But you know what? The offense did put up 20 points heading into that fourth quarter, whereas the Patriots only had 10 at that point with that vaunted offense. So to me, at that point, the defense let that 10-point lead slip away. And that's why we're sitting here tonight talking about the Jaguars losing to the Patriots versus the Jaguars going to the Super Bowl. It still hurts. Could you watch the NFC Championship after the Jaguars lost?
No, I'm not watching a single lick of football till next season.
Blythe?
Yeah.
I figured you had to. And what I had said is if the Jaguars had won, I would have taped that. I had it recorded.
Because you want to know who the
And
matchup
I obviously,
is.
would have
Right.
studied
well,
that.
and I thought it would have been a closer game because everybody talked about
Right.
how this is going to be a great matchup. I'm like, man, Minnesota, did you even walk in this building?
Yeah, that was. I did have it
Goodness.
on. I didn't lock into it, but I had it on just because I wanted to see how it went, and obviously it was a blowout, and it wasn't that much fun to watch. But I was wondering, as far as the Patriots' perspective, of course, that's the team you're going to face, and we'll get into Patriots versus Eagles. So, Blythe, that means you will not watch the Super Bowl.
No. Maybe the commercials. I mean, I feel like this is still emotion in me talking, but no, I'm not. Normally with the Super Bowl, it's appointment viewing. It's something that, even our tailgate family, our tailgate group, most of us planned to take the next day off in order to whoever was going to be in the Super Bowl. Not necessarily because if the Jaguars had a chance, but not with coming this close and just not particularly interested. And I know the commercials are sort of a big deal with it, but nowadays they release the commercials a week ahead of time. So it's not, I don't know. I'm probably just all full of BS and I'll still watch it anyways.
Well, we'll be at Jerry's. You're welcome to come by. We always have the annual party there. And for this year, I feel like, I'm not going to care that much about the actual
Justin
game. I'll
Timberlake.
have fun at the
I'll watch
party.
Justin Timberlake
Yeah,
at halftime.
and
That'd be nice.
enjoy the people, and that'll be that. All right, we will continue talking about the Jaguars as we break down this unfortunate loss to the Patriots. Listening to Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes on 1010XL.
Get more play-by-play on 1010XL.
Probably been taking calls and
Well, I think
3 or
they kind
4.
of stopped the Jags talk a bit much today, because the phone lines were like overloaded. I was getting them up front yesterday.
Oh, really?
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not surprised.
So I think today everybody kind of dwindled down. And we might be riling other people up. Or I might be riling other people up.
I mean, you can't do that. That'd be a ridiculous rule.
This is why I had to stop listening to callers yesterday. I'm like,
Honestly,
stop.
you're a better person than me because I would have been talking so much shit.
No, I don't because
You don't want your tires slashed.
2007 could come around and bite you in the ass, so I don't say anything. I don't say nothing. I'm like, it could have. It's still with this one. I don't know.
And I know I'll look back and think of how much fun this season was because it really was.
So much.
I'm just like, I'm trying to ignore it until
Oh,
I.
no, don't get me wrong, man. It was absolutely egregious. But, when you're doing it, you expect going in, you got to do your best to come down. This
is why I told that I couldn't. I was listening to music up front yesterday. I just stopped
shut up,
listening to all these callers.
Yeah, I don't
Just
like the callers.
well, with this play and this official and that official,
Yeah.
you know what? I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, well, and what's crazy is the injuries that happened in the game, which you're talking about a team that had obviously been so incredibly healthy all season
Right.
long. You got your left tackle banged up. You got your best defensive end on the sidelines.
How many calls you taking?
You got the
How many calls you taking?
Calais, your best, your other best defensive end, really your best
I've
defensive
never
end.
heard someone say they're not a Jags fan, and I'm like, what do you want me to say to that?
Who said they're not a Jags fan?
Donna, because she's a Patriots fan.
I didn't say I'm not a Jags
Yeah,
fan.
No.
I was like, I'm pretty sure she said she'd be happy if the Jaguars.
Shauna has more
Jags
experience.
here.
Literally
Never
said
said
I would
I
be
do.
happy either way.
Yeah. And
So-
she even said that, so I was like,
I'm
so-
glad I'm bringing it
you
back
asking a
to
question?
clarify someone who is not listening correctly to know that I did not say I am not a Jags fan.
Right. And I didn't understand why she called. She's
Open
like,
your
I just
ears.
never heard someone say that. I'm like,
You never heard someone say they're not a Jaguars fan? That part's easy to
Yeah.
do.
must
Have
be
you
new
lived
here.
outside of Jacksonville at
And
all?
there's even
Falcons
people
fan.
from
I mean,
here that
Ackerson
are.
on the air 12 years ago. He's a Broncos fan. Like,
What did he say he was this year?
Hacker?
Yeah.
Oh,
That usually changes. He's a bandwagoner. Has he become a Rays fan again, or is he on to something else?
Hey, you leave my race
I was
alone.
being.
No, but like it's hilarious. I don't know what he is this year. He makes me laugh.
I'm ready for baseball season to start, even though the Rays aren't going to be very good this year. I just need something that's not depressing.
Celtics are actually really good this year.
I mean, are they? That's surprising.
And the Cavs
actually.
are a
Isaiah
mess.
Thomas. Yeah.
Hey, Tyler, are you so surprised how bad the Cavs are this year?
They'll turn it on.
It's weird for the first time in LeBron's
After the
career,
All-Star
the
break.
numbers
Isn't
are
it after the
better
All-Star
for his
break?
team, like their offense and defensive rating are better when he's
He's
off
off.
the court.
Yeah.
than when
It's
he's
so
on.
weird.
He's got too many of his buddies there.
What about his tweet that's bizarre.
It's all drama with him.
He congratulates himself?
Yeah. Before he did it. Isn't he like 6 points short of the 30,000?
It's like 7.
I got no
How many
patience
points
for
short
athletes
is he
right
of the
now,
30,000?
Unless it's Jalen.
I think he's like.
Like 7 or
away.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought I
But
saw
who-
he was like 6 points away.
Like who congratulates himself?
More Jags stuff coming.
I would see that coming from
Come
Tiger.
join the pity
and I
party.
like Tiger.
This keyboard reminds me of the ones they used to have in the library, and I loved them. Do you know what I'm talking about? Those keyboards that were like, you barely had to press down. They're real quiet. They're not like
Soft
the ones
key.
where you have to like really push with those like thick ones. I used to be obsessed with the library keyboards.
I'm gonna come back with a Malik cut for the year.
Am I?
I don't even
surprising
remember
you?
being at a computer in a library.
Oh really? Okay. Well,
Are you talking about college or are you talking about high school?
no, like growing up, but like you'd use the computer to like find a book in the library.
I got nothing.
It wasn't like a computer like this. It wasn't like in
Right, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. My memory is not very good.
the- Well, that and I was in the library a lot.
I don't know. I remember reading newspapers on a stick in the library.
On a
Accurate
stick?
minute.
Yeah,
Like
they're
the-
always on the
the-
stick.
yeah,
the
yeah,
long
yeah.
stick. Because apparently they don't want you to steal the newspaper.
I love this keyboard. I want to switch this out with mine, even though I have a laptop.
All right, I'm bringing it back, right?
Yup.
Northeast Florida and Adamak Harley Davidson Motorcycles. Brandon Linder was considered one of the most promising offensive linemen in the 2014 draft class, and the Jags got a close look at him during the week of the Senior Bowl. The Jags liked
Nobody's
what they
allowed to
saw
call
in
Tom
Brandon
Brady a
Linder
goat
in the
on
third
this
round,
broadcast.
and he's gone on to be one of the league's best centers, scouting the Senior Bowl.
If you're on here, Donna, I'd block you.
I didn't say it.
And
I didn't
I'll
call him.
block you
I didn't call him
for
in.
24 hours.
offseason is where
Then you can comment again.
Oh, I should not use this.
Alright, here we go. I got another stuff here for you.
Okay.
so you don't miss a beat.
In the
Keep
locker
the
room.
offseason rolling at TireOutlet.com. Wholesale prices, premium service.
Jaguars football by women, for women, and men. Helmets and heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes
Presented by Underwood Jewelers and American Window Products.
on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
I mean, we're taking out this loss right here. It was a great season. We proved, like you said, proved a lot of people wrong. We had the NFL respect us and compete with quality games on TV. We had our opponents respect us, not talk stuff about us before the season starts or during the season. And we brought a scorer of the nation back from being in the dumps. So I think all in all, if you look at what we were able to do as a team, we did a lot of things for the city of Duval and we spread the teal as far as the fans and the nation. So I think it's a beautiful thing what we did coming from literally to gold, but just to do that.
Welcome back to Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes. Hearing from some of the players as they were cleaning out their lockers yesterday. One, I just want to clarify because I know that we got some calls. For anybody that thinks that I am not actually a Jags fan, which I have been and have been for years, I am. If I'm not, then I don't know what you heard. I never ever have said I am not a Jaguars fan.
You wore Jags gear on Sunday. I can vouch for you.
I was there on Sunday. I had little man in Jags gear. I was a winner either way. That was my statement. I didn't care. I won either way because I like both teams. I was born and bred as a New Englander, so I have that team in my heart, and I have this team I've adopted here. Just
And
wanna
it would be
clarify that.
impossible for you to not cheer for the Jaguars based off of where you work. It would be
Yeah, of
impossible
course.
for you
It would be, I mean,
to work
flat out
here.
stupid.
Yeah, and walk around knowing that the station is even more successful the better the Jaguars do. The happier Jacksonville is, the better, the more people listen and the better everybody feels and the more
Yes.
money people spend on Jaguar stuff.
Yes, I mean, either way, it was a wonderful Sunday for me. That's all I'm saying. All right, so anyways, let's move on to towards the end of the game. Now we had, this whole postseason had a couple different reactions at end of games. And this one, not as dramatic as Minnesota, but Blythe, what was your reaction with like the last 2 minutes to go?
My heart was in my stomach. Stress to no end, and even just the overall mood of this game compared to the Steelers game was vastly different. Even at the watch party, you know, the watch party with the Steelers felt almost like a party. This one, I would need both hands and feet in order to count how many times I heard deep sighs before kickoff during this game, just because of the anxiety. People were nervous, and that anxiety only increased as the lead sort of diminished towards the end of the game. You sort of felt it, you sort of knew, and I think that, you know, sort of comparing the watch party with the Patriots against the watch party with the Steelers, maybe we knew all along. Maybe we sort of had that inkling of what was going to happen, because no lead is safe against the Patriots. The Falcons learned that the hard way in the Super Bowl last year, and the only sort of, I guess, coping mechanism was the fact that you're surrounded by people that you really care about, and you know that, you know, there's always next season.
Which you're used to, you know, with the Jags, we're used to saying that in like week 7.
October,
You know?
September.
Like, yeah.
Which
Let's
is-
talk about draft.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously, we have a little bit of it. I don't even really know how to put what I'm trying to say.
So you were on pins and needles towards the end of the game.
Absolutely. It was just anxiety. Anxiety was
Right.
the biggest feeling. And you sort of knew it in your gut, and you were just waiting for it to happen. It was almost like a slow pain by 1,000 pin, or what is that
Yeah.
a death by 1,000 pinpricks?
Nice.
That was sort of
Yeah.
what it felt like, instead of just the one, just slash my throat and get it over with.
So Bortles has the ball. They're driving
Scores.
Lauren. And,
After New England scores?
yep.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
Gilmore bats it away.
Yeah.
What's your feeling?
My feeling was, oh no, just this cannot happen to this team. This can't happen to this defense. It is going to end this way because you knew. you kind of knew. I thought the Jaguars might be able to stop the Patriots, but I didn't think the Jaguars were going to be able to drive the length of the field, basically. They were going to get the ball deep in their own territory. I didn't think they were going to drive that. So the moment that Amendola scored the touchdown, I thought, oh no. Unless something crazy happens, that's the end. We saw the exact opposite of what we thought we would see from this defense at the end of the game. The 3rd and 18 was wild and crazy, but that touchdown, to me, cemented it. And I just didn't really talk. And then, the whole place where we were watching, everybody got quiet. And then as soon as the game hit zeros, I walked into they have a little side room next door to where the TV is. Walked in there, sat my butt on the couch, and tweeted out how upset I was. And I now have tears in my eyes thinking about it again, because it was just a Tom Brady dagger in the heart. And I watched it happen against the Falcons, and I kind of laughed. And all that pain that I witnessed Jordan kind of going through, and I said, hey, well, at least you're in the Super Bowl. Don't worry about that. All of a sudden, that kind of came rushing back to me, and I was like, oh, this is miserable. Like, the joy last week was so high, and this pain is matching how joyous it was. This pain is real. And I understand, like, I know I've seen a lot of people use the term grieving or mourning. I understand the difference between a football loss and an actual human loss, or even the loss of a pet. I completely understand this is different. And I'm not at any moment equating the two. But we have a football show to talk about, or a 2-hour show where we talk about football, and then I talk about it the rest of the week. I didn't want to come to work yesterday and have to talk about the way that game ended. So for me, it was torture, that last final minute or two, because I knew it was over. And what about you? Did you jump up for joy? No,
I just sat on my couch because TJ had adopted the Jags this year, and that was his team because he was kind of struggling. He can't come on my side, and the Dolphins stink, so he's like, I can't.
And he lives here.
So he's adopted, and plus they're fun to watch. Like, he tried last year. He's like, they're just not fun. I wish they were fun to watch. It's just struggling, and obviously last year was different. But we loved watching them this year. The defense was so much fun, and watching Fournette, especially, with those few games where he was just on fire. It was a lot of fun to watch. So, now there was some words said afterwards, and I just sat there and let him get mad. I've never seen that.
That's a good job.
Yeah, I've never seen him that side, so
because I would have not have been that fan. If my team wins, I'm going to be the obnoxious. And we sort of saw it with this Jaguars fan base. We always said that if this team starts winning, don't let us start winning because we're going to be so obnoxious. And we got obnoxious, and I would have been incredibly more obnoxious if they were going to the Super Bowl.
Well, speaking of, how did you take Ryan Shazier's tweet after the Jags loss, which was a direct shot to Ramsey?
I feel like he has greater things to be worrying about right now than Jalen Ramsey.
I felt like it was really uncomfortable because Jalen cannot, because of Shazier's injury.
He can't come back.
Jalen Bright is not in a position where he can say anything to him. Obviously, you saw Telvin Smith come back and say, like, kind of chill, little cuz. But Jalen can't say anything. And Jalen wasn't talking at any point to Shazier or to the Steelers. He was talking to the Jaguars fan base. He was swept up in a moment.
Right.
And I think if Jalen thought that video would go viral and go all over NFL Network, I don't think he would have said that. I really don't think that he was thinking in that moment. Yeah. I think he was, as he said, talking for the team, but I don't think that he was talking in that moment to anyone other than those Jaguars fans who came back to greet them after one of the best wins in franchise history, after he was on that team last year that suffered so much. So to me, I think Shazier was out of line, and he was somebody who probably also knew that he was kind of untouchable because of the situation that he's in, which is a horrible situation to be in, but still.
What's his update?
The last we saw, obviously, was he was at the game with the Jaguars and the Steelers. He was in a wheelchair throughout that entire week. They have not said anything about whether or not he could walk, but he has regained the nerve feeling in his legs.
When I saw that, the one thing that I thought of was, wait a minute. Were the Steelers actually rooting for New England in this game because of what happened, because of now the Jags-Steelers rivalry? That's what struck me. I'm like, wait, no way. So I was surprised by that, just for that fact alone.
He's probably just mad because the Jaguars got an overall winning record against him in the playoffs and the regular season.
I mean,
I would think that, yes, the Steelers probably were cheering for the Patriots because they did not want new little brother to come in and potentially get to the Super Bowl.
All right, so besides the delay a game and one or two, if the throw was extremely perfect, what do you want to do about Bortles next season?
For me, he's the starting quarterback. He's earned not just the respect of his teammates, but I think the respect of the city. I think the coaches were always there on him, whereas the rest of us mocked him openly. He can't throw a spiral. He has bad mechanics. He can't look a safety off. He can't find an open receiver quickly. He can't go through his progressions. I mean, there was a litany of things that were said against him, many of which I said after watching him last season.
We all did.
The football IQ, I don't think that I've ever seen a quarterback improve that drastically and almost within a season because he didn't start the season throwing the ball that well. And yeah, there were some times that it was wobbly, but to me, he's the starting quarterback next year. And if there's competition brought in, fine. I still think he wins the job.
Would you rather have a veteran competition or a draft?
I would rather have a veteran compete just because of the fact that if something were to happen to Blake, that person can go in. So to me, I'm fine with Chad Henne re-signing as the backup quarterback, and you ride with Blake and with Henne. Blythe, you disagree?
Absolutely. Chad Henne off this team. We need significant upgrade at the quarterback position, and I'm okay with Blake being the starter, opening week 1, but you have to bring in competition for him. You have to. There were too many times this entire season, and you even saw it in the second half of this AFC Championship game, where they almost have to treat Bortles with kid gloves, and they have to game plan around his inabilities instead of trusting him to lead the team to get that victory in the fourth quarter. His passer rating, Tony said, I think on the kickoff show, his passer rating is somewhere in the 30s when the Jaguars don't have a lead in the fourth quarter. You can't have that with the most important position on the field. I do think he improved drastically throughout this entire season, which is why I think that they should give him a chance to compete for the starting job, but you need to bring in a backup, and you need to bring in, you need to, I don't know if you need to test the veteran waters because the pros and cons there, I'm not sure that they're exactly there for a guy like Alex Smith or Kirk Cousins, but you need to absolutely draft the future for this franchise because I don't know if Bortles, he played fine, he played well, but I don't know if he is the guy that can lead you to the promised land.
Right, because even if you do bring in a veteran, say someone like Eli or Drew Brees, they're not going to come here to be a backup.
No, if Drew Brees, I'm cutting Blake tomorrow if Drew Brees has an option to come here.
Yeah, and I think most people would sign on the dotted line. I know I've heard people call in and say no matter who it is, they want Blake, and I get that. You should feel that
cut
emotional
your emotions
about,
out of it.
But fans are allowed to be emotional. You should be like that. You're not the GM, so it's fine.
Right.
But I don't think Drew Brees isn't coming available.
Right.
I doubt Eli Manning is. I doubt Kirk Cousins might be, but I don't think Kirk Cousins has 2 losses in the postseason. Of money. Blake has 2 wins and 1 loss to Tom Brady. So I think Bortles did a phenomenal job during the most important games in this season, whether it be in December or whether it be in the postseason. And he didn't have enough weapons to really be able to say, well, he missed a wide open guy like Gronkowski or even a threat like Brandon Cooks. The Jaguars were playing with mostly rookie wide receivers and a banged-up Marquise Lee and a banged-up Allen Hurns, and still had the lead against the Patriots. So to me, that goes to show you Bortles did a phenomenal job in the postseason with limited weapons. And so to me, you spend, and we'll get into this a little bit, but that's where you focus.
You had a number 1 rushing attack and a number 1 defense. I don't know that that's necessarily limitless.
But the rushing attack got 3 yards in the fourth quarter. That's where I don't put the blame on Blake.
I'm not putting the blame.
I put the blame on.
Didn't the Jaguars only have 6 snaps in the whole fourth quarter?
Something
6 plays.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so obviously you're not going to run the ball in the fourth quarter.
Right.
Dang, I didn't know that.
Well, coming up, let's find out. There are all different losses, like we mentioned earlier this postseason. How would you rather lose? If you had to lose, which way would you want it? Would you rather have the Band-Aid ripped right off? Would it be long and drawn out? We're going to find out more of that. Plus, I want to find out how Tyler's experience up in Boston was. And my brothers were at the game, and I made sure to tell them to be very nice to the Jags fans. And they had glowing remarks about the Jaguars fans that actually made the trip. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about that. So more coming up next on Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes.
Hear straight from the players and coaches.
I agree with that. 6 snaps in the fourth quarter with a moving clock and a lead. And you see that Warren Sharp, that smart football guy?
Yes, I loved that insight.
They never ran the play clock even 5 seconds at all in the fourth quarter.
And
that
that's
was not smart.
And situational awareness. I talked about this on the kickoff show that I worried about the coaching staff being able to deal with that in the final couple minutes of the game and playing scared. And my big question is are they playing scared because of Blake, or are they playing scared in just because that's what they want to do, or that's how they want to call the game?
I think if they were afraid of Blake, then they wouldn't have thrown some of those deep passes that they threw.
They threw it in the first half. They didn't throw it in the second half, though.
It was run,
predicted.
pass, run, pass,
It was
pass, run, pass.
exactly 100% predicted. And this guy is predicting stuff over the summer before the season even starts.
Sure. But I mean,
and that's Nathaniel
they passed
Hackett.
more than they ran in the second half. So therefore, to me, that's not on Blake. That may be on play calling that it was.
But you don't know,
but
is it the chicken or the egg? Like, are they limiting the plays because his passer rating is so abysmal in the third and fourth quarters, or is that just the way they want to call the game, or is that the way they schemed it up?
Thrown like screen passes if they were afraid of him in the second half instead of like the deep pass to Dede Westbrook, the almost connected wheel route to Fournette. Like that was those to me. If you don't trust your quarterback, you make it a short passing game. You don't potentially go for it.
Well, it's not
several
necessarily
times.
it's predictability, and I think that's what that sharp guy was getting to, is that it was absolutely predictable that he could, and he predicted this before the season even started. So if you're that predictable and there's access to this kind of information out there, then you better believe the Patriots are going to get a hold of that and know your tendencies and be able to combat against them.
Trying to tell the Jaguars about it, like they didn't listen. Yeah.
Which that part surprises me because I feel like Tony Khan is
what does
like
Tony
into
Khan do
all
when he
that.
has some stats department, and how does he not notice these obvious tendencies? Like if it's the guy made a blatant case, like
it was open and shut case to me when I was reading through this, and I'm like, God damn, if it's this laid out, change your tendencies.
Well, and Coughlin should be well aware of all that stuff too.
Coughlin's not an analytics guy. Tony Khan's an analytics guy.
Yeah, but I mean, they sit next to each other, and in every game, so therefore they have conversations. I feel like
if you're Tony Khan, you're going to be talking down football knowledge to Tom Coughlin.
That's what he does is he shares football knowledge with guys like Marone and Coughlin.
I don't know their inner working relationships, but if I'm the mannerisms of Tony Khan, I'm there to learn from Tom Coughlin. I'm not going to speak unless I'm spoken to.
First down with a run from the shotgun. Every single second down with a long pass downfield.
I heard Dan read it this morning, and there was
He went through it all.
He went through it all, but there was one time where, and I can't tell you the sentence, but I swear he read like the insert to a caption. Like I swear, like when someone prints something and the picture doesn't print, but there's the caption that prints. Yeah. I swear he read the caption because there was one sentence that did not make sense, and I was like, wait, I think he just read something that wasn't actually a part of that. But whatever. I'm sure I was probably the only person who was listening that intently. Dreamfinder's next live spot.
8-12.
Oh, 8-12. Okay. Thank you.
Suffering from neurological diseases, strokes, Parkinson's, MS, and ALS. Register now for only $30 or $40 on race day at prsracetiming.com. prsracetiming.com. Rose Catering has so many fresh ingredients for fajita bars and burritos that your coworkers can build a meal as unique as they are. Give your health fanatic a bowl of all-natural chicken with a side of grass-fed steak. Your micromanagement.
Oh, I meant to ask you, how did watching with the new guy go?
I went good. He did well. Game didn't end the way I want, but
A new guy.
I'm not talking about him here.
You got this one?
Yeah, shoot. I guess.
See. I know, right?
Back here in 30.
Got a nice comment for you. It said, "Shut up, Sticks," from a guy named Clayton.
What?
A guy named Clayton Said shut up, Sticks.
Fishing is more fun when you catch something. The Florida Roads Fishing Forecast with Captain Kevin Faber. Brought to you by Ring Power, Baker Glass, and Morningstar Marina Mayport. Wednesday nights at 7 on 1010XL.
You're listening to Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes
Presented by Underwood Jewelers and American Window Products.
on 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Welcome back into Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes. My name is Blythe Brumleve, and I'm joined alongside Donna Murphy and Lauren Brooks. And with the NFC and the AFC Championship games on Sunday, there was a big discrepancy in how close or how far away the point differential was between the two matchups. And it got me wondering, would you ladies prefer, if you could pick your poison, would you prefer to get blown out like the Vikings did, or would you prefer a close game like what happened with the Jaguars?
I absolutely prefer the close game, especially coming from where the Jaguars have come from. 3-13, that's getting blown out of the season. I want to go up against Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, go toe-to-toe, wire-to-wire, and lose. And it could have been a worse ending. It could have been a last-second touchdown by Brady that the Jaguars had no chance of even coming back on, right? Like, at least there was an opportunity. The Jaguars could have, after that touchdown, come back and won the football game. So it could have been even worse. But I would way rather my team be in it and have stuff to cheer about throughout the entire game. Those Vikings, man, they had a rough Sunday night. They had one touchdown to cheer about. That's it, and they got the doors blown off of them. No, thank you.
So how do you think the Saints feel, right?
I think
like the Saints got to sit there and be like, we
Saints
would
have
have
their
played
hearts torn
better
out.
than this.
Right.
Come on, Minnesota. I would rather get blown out. I don't want to sit there and go through the excruciating last 2 minutes of a game and be like, we're going to win it, we're going to win it. No, it all got ripped away. I don't want to have that much excitement and that much heartache in 30 seconds. I would rather see the demise and be like, yep, all right, well, this sucks, but all right.
See, I see both sides, but having gone through it, I would much rather the close game, just because you feel like you're closer. If you get blown out, then you feel like you're a long ways away from improvement the following season. At least this way, if I'm sort of looking at the silver lining of it, is that we were just a few plays away. I would much rather question a few plays, a few bad calls, than to question my entire existence. And I think that's what Vikings fans were doing on Sunday.
Well, you almost win in a close game. If you look at it, the glass half full, you almost won the game. Whereas when you get blown out, you weren't even in the football game. And to me, especially for Vikings fans, knowing that you are going to have the Super Bowl to play for in your home stadium, and even if the Patriots were to come in and play you, which obviously by the time they kicked off, they would have known that, you still feel like, you know what, we have home field advantage. So I think it's even worse. Not only were you not even close, but you had it to where you could have had the Super Bowl in your backyard, and you let that go too.
I wonder if you're a Vikings fan, do you even stay in town for the Super Bowl now, or do you just leave?
Oh, I would absolutely rent my house out for like $4,000 for the week and peace out of town.
Take a trip to the tropics or something. Get the hell out of there.
You don't want to be around fans that are punching police horses. Why would you?
Right.
No.
The Philly fans nearly burned their city to the ground when they won.
Yeah. No.
Frank was watching a video earlier of women, like a street fight with a bunch of women, like not even men in it.
It's
and
all
he's
Philly
like,
fans fighting each other.
This is Philadelphia at its finest. And I was like, okay, no matter how bad it is, I'm still not going to physically get into a fight with other women because of a football game when my team won.
Well, even the guys were fighting each other. I saw a dune buggy riding up the rocky steps. I saw another guy riding on the roof of his car. Random mass, people with their clothes off. They acted like they won the Super Bowl. You haven't won anything yet. You just won the NFC Championship. You got one more game to win, and you're still acting crazy like that.
So next season, what are you most looking forward to? Are you looking forward to the Steelers coming in town, or are you looking for the Patriots? Which one?
Patriots.
Yeah?
Well, it's going to be...
Is Tom Brady there or no? Because that changes my answer.
And then if we win, I'm like, well, it doesn't really matter, because then you got to... Well... I guess you could see the pros and the cons, because if you do win, then you sort of have a game plan against them when it does come time for the playoffs. But, I mean, next year, to me, it's Super Bowl or bust. And I think it's Super Bowl or bust for the next couple years for this squad. And in order to get there, you got to go through the road of Pittsburgh and New England, and you got to beat them.
Because it's exciting next year. The home season.
It's a tough schedule next year.
The London trip is fantastic with the Eagles.
Phenomenal. It's going to be,
It's definitely a tougher schedule. But as far as the Steelers versus the Patriots, to me, there are more Steelers fans everywhere, and I think they're a little bit more mouthy. So I would rather beat the Steelers again and kind of put the foot on them into the ground. Versus the Patriots, you know what? You can lose that game and potentially still host the Patriots in the AFC Championship game. You'd have to win a lot more games than them throughout the regular season. But if Tom Brady is there, I don't even care if the Jaguars lose to the Patriots in the regular season. I do not want to lose to the Steelers in the regular season.
Definitely not. But in order to get there, we got to make some improvements on this roster. And so what positions do you think are the biggest need and why?
Quarterback is the obvious. So can we take that one out?
I don't even have quarterback on my list.
Really?
No, I am good.
You're good with Chad Henne as a backup?
I am perfectly good. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And
Get Chad Henne
I think if
up
Chad
outta
Henne
here.
had to step in this season, let's say in early December, maybe not against the Seahawks, but I think Chad Henne would have beat the Colts and the Texans handily, just like the Jaguars did with Blake Bortles, if he had to step in as a backup.
That's like being the smartest kid in the slow class. Those two teams are trash.
But and I picked them because I picked December. I think Chad Henne would have lost to the Seahawks, but I think Henne can step in and win games that if you are drafting a quarterback, a rookie quarterback may not be able to just jump in and win games. Because they're not going to pick first, second, or third round quarterback. I don't think they're going to address it that early.
I think you got to. I think you got to draft a quarterback within the first 3 rounds every single draft because you never know when you're going to hit on them.
I would say, I know that we're all pleased with how the offensive line did this season, especially from what we saw in the preseason, but that needs to be addressed.
There needs to be some depth there for sure.
Especially when Cam went down, you knew it kind of, it's not so well.
And even when Parnell and Omame went down earlier in the year, there was a significant, it significantly affected the run game.
Yeah.
I don't know that they ever really recovered.
I would love to see. You hate to address the defense because it is so stellar, but you need a giant nose tackle. You need a humongo Vince Wilfork that will not let anybody.
Darius.
Yeah, well, that will not let anybody get through. You know what I mean? I don't know that. I don't know if Darius is gonna sustain. But that's what I would like to see because I think you're pretty sure with your secondary.
Yeah.
I don't think there's
well,
any
except for the corner,
there.
if Colvin leaves, you got to address that because I don't know how you replace Colvin. I think he's going to want to get paid,
as he should. So I don't know. I'm more of the offensive line and the quarterback to me.
We had Aaron Colvin on our show. I don't even remember which season it was. I think 2 seasons ago. And I remember him being very grateful to the Jacksonville Jaguars because he was hurt in the Senior Bowl, and so a lot of teams wouldn't even think about drafting him. So the one thing that I wonder, and this is obviously my emotional side coming through, not the business like-minded side that Aaron Colvin will be thinking about and getting paid, but I wonder if he is going to give this franchise a discount because they took him when a lot of other teams wouldn't. That's the only thing I wonder. Plus, the fact that he's surrounded by such talent around him.
Right.
He knows that he will be the starting cornerback if either one go down, but also he could be on a team that wins a Super Bowl. To me, if it was me, I would rather stay with this team, get paid a little bit less, because in the end, you're still talking about millions and millions of dollars. I know that's not how they think, but that's where I'm coming from.
It is a business that chews them up and spits them out anytime you can, and the average length of the NFL career is 3.5 years, so when you can have the opportunity to get paid, you need to take it, but I do think that he has that situation where it could be that he sticks with the Jaguars in order to get those playoff bonuses because those help with, and I think that the Jaguars could restructure the contract or give him a contract in which he can take more advantage of those playoff bonuses, maybe some performance-based bonuses. Injuries I know are a little bit of a concern with him, but I wouldn't fault him if he went to go get paid, but I would definitely obviously I would want him to stay here and play in a Jaguars uniform, but he'd have to take a pay cut.
If the Jaguars had won the Super Bowl, each player would have had been paid $219,000. That's the maximum that you can get paid, and that's a little bit of a chunk for each playoff game, but that's the total that each player would have been paid, which to me does not seem like a significant bonus in their eyes.
But they get a lot of marketing opportunities
sure,
too.
but as far as just what the league pays, $219,000 to me, when I read that, I was like, wow, that doesn't seem like a lot. Obviously, to me, that would be a phenomenal bonus, but to them, not that much. All right, I am not going to address the defense other than maybe linebacker a little bit later in the round.
Do you need some depth there if Paz leaves?
Yeah, and same story for me with Podlesny. I want him to stay. I know that you can't keep everyone, but to me, he is the rock of that defense. Even before guys like Telvin Smith and Calais Campbell became the leaders that they are, Podlesny was there first, and he is an astounding football player. He's just a machine, such an athlete. I know he's a little bit older. I would like him to retire as a Jaguar. I just think that that's the right thing for him to do. That's because that's what I think. He obviously gets to do whatever he wants. If he wants to go start and get to play every down somewhere else, then certainly that's up to him. I just hope that he stays as a Jaguar because, again, I'm sentimental, and I want that defense that played this past season to all be there next year. All right, offensively, I think you go with the 29th pick and you take a move tight end. This team desperately needs a good pass-catching tight end. It is so obvious when you've got a guy, and nothing against him, but when you've got a guy like James O'Shaughnessy out there, he's not the answer. Ben Koyak has been good at times, but he's also not the answer. I want a guy in, like I said, the first round, the end of the first round with that 29th pick to be a tight end, whether that be, the guy from South Carolina who's from Jacksonville originally.
Did we sign a free agent? Last year, free agent tight end.
We did. His name is Michael Rivera. He played in training camp and then was hurt before the season started, so he went on our IR, and you never got to see him throughout the season, obviously. So when I watched him at practices, I was not impressed like I think I would be with other guys that are 6'5", 250 pounds and have caught almost 1,000, or not 1,000 touchdowns, have 1,000 yards and like 30 touchdowns this past season in college. That's what I want with the first pick. And then I would love for the Jaguars to get a backup running back that is completely different than Leonard Fournette. And that's wishing, that's a wish list kind of pick that there's going to be a guy there. But I said on Frank's show earlier, Sony Michel to me, the Georgia running back, would be a phenomenal guy. Very similar to like an Alvin Kamara, and that way the Jaguars can have both backs in the game, and then you have no idea what they're going to do. Yeldon would stay, but you get rid of Chris Ivory.
What about Corey Grant?
I keep him too.
Another play calling mishap.
Yeah, Doug Marrone spoke to that yesterday and said that the Patriots figured out Corey Grant.
And Logman said that he didn't agree with that statement.
Yeah, and so, I'm just telling you what he said.
He's probably trying to save his coaches behind.
Yeah, probably. Then I agree, offensive linemen and also wide receivers. To me, there's a lot on offense that does definitely need to be addressed, but not quarterback.
You need a star on offense. You need a playmaking star, and hopefully Allen Robinson can be that. But if I'm drafting 29, I'm in the trenches kind of girl. I think you draft an O-line, and then in the following, the subsequent picks, I would go tight end, and then I'd go quarterback.
So which position offensive line would you prefer, guard or tackle?
It depends on if they keep Parnell, if they keep Omame. I'm not sure their contract status, but that right tackle, and then just to solidify the inside, because obviously the left tackle position is solidified with Cam Robinson, but you need some depth, and you need a guy that can play multi-positions, because the offensive line is the most important position group on the field, and they protect your entire offensive game plan. And it was decent this year. I think it was average, but it needs to be a lot better.
I liked Patrick Omame this year, who played left guard. I thought he did a fantastic job.
I wonder what his contract situation
He's an
is.
undrafted free. He's an unrestricted free agent, but I think he'll re-sign with the Jags. Go ahead, Donna.
I just don't want to see Baker Mayfield cold. That's all. I don't want to see
I don't
him.
think Baker Mayfield will be there, so I don't think you were even.
That would be
gonna have to
awesome
worry
if we
about
got
it.
Baker Mayfield. To be
I think there's
honest,
going to be a lot of.
I would love it
early.
No.
Well, like I said, I don't think
maybe
he's
Lamar
gonna be
Jackson
there,
too.
And I would not like that selection. But I don't think they go quarterback early. Tyler, what about you? You've been kind of anti-Blake this season.
I would probably draft a quarterback in the first round, make a trade, do something so Blake Bortles is not your quarterback.
So you're going to cut him.
Yes, if I can get Alex Smith, Kirk Cousins, one of those guys everyone throws out there. Even if Jay Cutler could hit the market, I'd be interested in bringing
What?
Jay Cutler here.
No, get Jay Cutler out of here.
Turn your mic off.
I don't think
Turn your
Kirk
mic off.
Cousins is better than Blake Bortles.
You're not allowed.
You just
The
said
team
what?
went. I don't think Kirk Cousins is better than Blake
He
Bortles.
made-
He went
he-
7-9 this year.
The record
That is
is
not how
one
you judge
thing.
quarterbacks.
No, the overall talent on that roster was garbage. It was trash, probably worse than the Colts. And he made something out of nothing.
To
I
Chris
used to like Kirk
Sims,
Cousins, but I don't love him.
to Chris Sims, Jay Cutler is the 71st worst quarterback of the league. Okay,
Yeah, by
Jay
the way,
Cutler is bad.
I hope Chris Sims apologizes to Blake Bortles on that Super Bowl pregame show that he'll be on.
My
Well-
biggest problem with Blake is he's one of the worst deep ball throwers in the league. And that's Allen Robinson's best trait, is going
Right.
and getting a 50-50 ball. And he was so good at it his rookie year, and all of a sudden he just can't throw it anymore. So you never know what you're going to get on a Sunday because he's so inconsistent, and that's just not a guy I'm going to pay $19
But
million.
those deep balls to Keelan Cole, one against the Seahawks and one against the Steelers, those were pure perfection.
Those are
Two passes out of an entire season.
On the entire season.
Yeah, but I can name other deep passes that he connected on. But I think that you're talking about a guy, and at least Kirk Cousins to me is a guy that's very hypothetical. Again, 2 postseason losses he's suffered since he came into the NFL. To me, I'm not going to pay him a ridiculous amount of money because I think Blake Bortles is a better leader than Kirk Cousins is too.
Well-
and that's the opposite of anything I was saying in August of this season. I was ready to cut Blake Bortles
What
and ready to
example
move
of
on.
good leadership has Bortles shown you that you don't think that Kirk Cousins could do?
A win against the Bills when he used his legs and ran for more yards than he
Couldn't
passed.
complete a pass.
Hey, I don't care. You got to win. I do not care how ugly the victory was. I don't think
10-3.
Kirk Cousins necessarily is beating the Bills. If the wind is swirling and Cousins can't pass either, he's not going to run.
Cousins would be able to pass. That's the big difference between him and
the
Blake.
game plan would
The
be
wind was
the game plan would
swirling.
be different. The scheme
Sure.
would be
And
completely
and
different.
maybe
with those
Hackett
two
isn't
quarterbacks.
handcuffed in the second half of football games because he can air it out a little bit more.
Look, I don't even know if Bortles can read a defense.
Let me ask you guys this question. Does Doug Marrone kneel it with 55 seconds left and 2 touchdowns if Kirk Cousins is his quarterback?
That's a
I don't
good
think so.
question.
I
and I
think
don't
yes.
think
I think
not.
that's
I don't think he
that's
does.
conservative play calling.
No, and
Bad.
that's what killed him this
Yeah.
season is
No,
conservative
that's
play. It
fearing
almost
that
lost
your
the
quarterback
Steelers.
is going to turn the ball over and give them extra points before the end of the half.
They
They
played-
wouldn't have even had to throw it. They could have run the football. If you're so confident
But
in
then-
your 4th overall pick, you run the football at 55 seconds.
But then you go with the touchdown in the end zone against the Bills, and 4th and 1, they should have just either kicked the field goal or pushed it in with Fournette, and they allowed and trusted Blake to throw it. Granted, it was 1 yard, but still, it was for a touchdown.
Blake beat up
So-
a lot of bad teams this year, too.
He did. But the game scheme, you're talking about 2 completely different quarterbacks, and a scheme would be completely different for one. Plus, I have more belief that Cousins can actually read a defense than Bortles.
And
I just can't buy into him reading and knowing what's going on. He can pull it off, but I don't think he understands.
And with Cousins, too, he wants to be at a place that he can win and he's going to be appreciated. He's never been appreciated in Washington. And to be able to come to Jacksonville, I think the majority of fans, I mean, you're going to be a little upset about Blake.
Right.
Yes, he did a lot this season, yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, we want to win a Super Bowl. And can you do it with Blake Bortles leading the ship? And I think the question is still undetermined on that.
And for me, my answer came in Sunday's game. Yes, you can win a Super Bowl with Blake Bortles if your
know.
defense stops the Patriots in either of those situations in the 4th quarter. You have won at least against the Patriots. Now, whether or not you're going to win the next game, I don't know. It depends on what happens. In 2 weeks off before Super Bowl, who knows what's going to happen. But you would have beaten the greatest head coach and the greatest quarterback with half of a half, with well, at least a
shoulda,
half
woulda.
with the greatest.
Coulda,
tight end
shoulda, woulda.
Gronkowski.
It didn't happen, though.
All right, we are. You were, by the way, you were more upset, I think, about the season and the quarterback than I expected. I thought you would be saying more praise for Blake and more like, "Wow, what a season," than I'm hearing. But maybe that's
I want to
for
win.
weeks to come.
I don't give a rip about Blake, to be honest, from a personal standpoint. I want to win, and I don't care who's leading the ship. And if Blake was the reason that our offensive play calling was limited and they went conservative, then that's a serious issue to me because we saw all year that the play calling was limited. And I don't know whether to blame Hackett or whether to blame Blake, and I think it's a little bit of both.
And I don't think the play calling was conservative at all against the Steelers. I think it's just different.
It was
But
conservative in the second half. It allowed them to storm all the way back.
the most important football picks of the season. We gotta go to break. We are way late. The most important football picks of the season come up next. Listen to Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes on 1010XL.
Hi, this is Coach Mark Riggs. This is Donovan.
Are you feeling okay?
Jacksonville Jaguars. Hi, I'm Harry
Yeah,
Carson.
got it. There you go.
Winter is coming, and your old windows could be costing you money and higher electric bills. American Window
football
Products
picks,
can
too.
replace your old windows with energy-efficient Eastern architectural systems and save you the
Tyler,
money
who you
that's
picking in
slipping
your
through the
picks?
cracks. And as a 1010XL listener, you'll get a free energy-saving glass package. Find out all about it at AmericanWindowProducts.com or call 731-2247.
Because she's only one behind you.
Both of us. Are we tied?
Yeah, you both are tied, and Lauren's only one behind you.
I feel like we should wait to submit these picks.
You're not doing a show next
I
week.
know it's
I
our
can
job
send
here
it
to
in.
try and sell every piece of jewelry.
But maybe it needs to be
Don't
like a
sell this
silent
ring.
vote.
I'm going to try to use my employee discount to buy it for
Does
my
it matter?
Okay, but you
I mean, if you want to write it down right now and not tell me, and I'll read them on air.
I just, a part of my soul will die if I pick the Patriots, which I don't want to lose.
Well, really? You never know.
And we got to pick a tiebreaker too, right?
With no middleman pricing on the best selection of
Yeah,
diamond
it
rings,
just-
earrings, pendants, bands, and bracelets, it's a no-brainer. Global is Jacksonville's
get-
value leader. I admire your dedication to our jewelry store and not going to global. I know the boss really appreciates her royalty. It's just the right thing to
Hey.
do, man. And it's nice your wife won't mind getting a smaller
Would you take Jimmy G?
On second thought, can you cover me while I take a break?
Man crush.
Alternative to old-fashioned
I told you
No,
that the
that's-
handsome face it affects your sensibilities.
That's what I almost came in wearing. My mom got me.
When you
a
own your own
Oh,
restaurant,
yeah.
you have to do it all. Say your chef's out
That's
sick,
neither
you
team. I
have to
can
cook.
come in
If
that.
your busboy's a
got you
no-show,
a
you have
nice
to
Jimmy
clear
G
tables.
shirt.
I even print my own dinner specials every day. You know, in all my spare time.
Right now at Staples, get up to $80 off select HP OfficeJet Pro printers as HP celebrates 30 years of helping small businesses succeed.
Thanks to Staples, now I have time to scrub my stock
We have
pots.
to also put them
So
at fault for the
glamorous.
loss as well.
Staples,
That's what I've been doing.
saving sanity.
I have
Ends
not put it on
1/27/18. See store.staples.com for details.
Well,
Restrictions
it's
may
the
apply.
most important
The
position on the
domestic litigation
field.
firm
It
Cordell
can't lead you to the
has
promised
been a partner
land.
men can count on for over
But he's not on the
25
field
years.
on the
Hello,
third
my
week
name's
team.
Joe
He's not on the
Cordell.
field when
Over those years,
Brady finds
tens of
Amendola
thousands of
and
guys
literally
across
Gibson is
America
looking at
and
him
now
with
in
his
the UK
hands in the air
have
like
turned
this.
to Cordell when
Instead of
everything was
leaping
on
to
the line.
shove him out of bounds,
Proud
and
of
instead
that
of
expression
Fournette
and
leaping to
trust,
catch that
but we know
one
the
wheel
responsibility
route,
that
like
comes
these
with it.
guys
Our tremendous growth
let
is a result of our
all of
tremendous
Jacksonville
commitment.
down.
Commitment to a core set of
Not
values
one guy,
and
these
an
guys.
obsession with client
Hackett,
care.
Marone,
If we
they're
ever lose that focus,
washed, they're all
we'll
lumped
cease to be
and you
the
don't think
partner
they
that
feel
guys
worse
can
than
count
we do?
on. We
I
get that.
guarantee
So
they
you
feel
can be
worse.
sure
I'm
that
only
our
worried about
focus
myself
over the
right now.
next 25 years will stay on those values
So
that
we're
got
gonna
us
pick
where we
Super Bowl?
are and that our clients
Yeah.
have come
And
to
tiebreakers
expect.
and
Oh, we
By
have
the
to.
way,
So
unless you're
yeah,
in
sorry.
Missouri
We're
or
gonna
Tiebreakers
Illinois,
and score.
you're not
Okay.
licensed in
Don't
your
we wanna
state,
wait for, like,
but that's
injury reports
okay.
and stuff?
Our attorneys in your state are.
Contact
I mean, we can change it and update it next week. I will give the option.
Online at
Oh yeah, we don't have to pick tonight. I had them on here because you're not going to be here next
Announcers
week.
are not licensed attorneys.
The
Would you rather
flagship
do it?
station
Would you
of the
rather do it next week?
Jaguars.
I mean, I'm gonna pick the
WJXL
friggin'
AM
Patriots.
Jacksonville Beach.
Stupid dumb
WJXL
Patriots.
FM Jacksonville
If Rob doesn't
Beach.
play.
Attention drivers, this year put yourself in a new Hyundai. Jack Kennedy is
got-
Hyundai of
I
Orange
mean, I think
Park
the
and
Eagles,
West
too.
Side
I think
have
the Eagles
united
are
to
sort of in a
increase their
similar
buying
position
power
to
and
the
pass the
Jaguars. So
savings
they
on
got
to you. Two great
handful of
locations where
years.
you get the
They
best
got their
price,
answer at
the
quarterback.
best selection, and the best service. Remember, if you buy your Hyundai
have a
anywhere
damn
else,
good
you will
backup.
pay too much. Take the wheel of a brand new 2017 Hyundai Accent SE for only $12,789. A new 2017 Hyundai Tucson SE, only $19,789. Or a new 2018 Hyundai Sonata SE. Just sign and drive for only $259 a
Like, they
month.
blew
Plus,
out
get
Minnesota
Hyundai Assurance with
and
America's
had barely
best
won.
10-year,
Like, I
100,000-mile
don't understand what
warranty.
we didn't
Hurry
get
to
to it earlier,
Hyundai of Orange Park
but
on
I
Blanding
don't-
Boulevard
like, I
and
was
Westside
so
Hyundai on
confident. Before
Cassett
the Patriots
Avenue.
game, I said,
Proud
the Jaguars
sponsors of the
beat the
Jacksonville
Patriots.
Jaguars. See them
Absolutely.
online at
And at first,
HyundaiofOrangePark.com
what
or
shit is people talking about the
WestsideHyundai.com.
AFC?
Actually, I don't know. I don't know that if the Jaguars beat the Patriots right now, I'd be confident. I'd be excited, but I don't know that I'd be confident.
I think
I'd be like, oh gosh.
definitely
Are you
will be
considering a
really good.
career in the construction industry? The North Florida Building Trades
I feel
Council
like our
is hosting a
defense
career
will pick
fair
them off
on
most of the
February
time.
10th from 9
Take
till 2
points off
at the
turnovers.
Plumbers Trust Building.
I don't know how the
at
offense is
489
doing.
Stevens Street on the
I
west
wonder how
side.
they- I don't know
We
if
encourage
they're
all
running
high
the
school
reception
seniors
is
and parents to attend.
And the
Our
Vikings
programs
are
offer
usually
tuition-free education, competitive wages and benefits, and guaranteed pay raises. That's Saturday, February 10th
9 till 2 at the Plumbers Trust
One
Building
more
on
hour
the West
left
Side.
on the show.
Scouting the Senior Bowl
talk
is
more
brought to you
Jags.
by Adamak Harley Davidson
Whatever, I think
Motorcycles
it's all
and
Jags.
Dandy Foods. Tight end could be a position of need for the Jaguars in this
Football
year's
picks.
draft. And one to keep an eye on at the Senior Bowl
dumb Pro
is
Bowl
Penn State's
player
Mike
what?
Gesicki. He's listed at 6'6", weighs
Yes.
252 pounds,
Are
and
you playing
caught
that comeback from
15
Brady?
touchdown passes in his
Aw.
college career.
Y'all
Scouting the
follow
Senior
Lil
Bowl is
Duval
brought to you by
on
Adamak
Insta?
Harley Davidson Motorcycles and Dandy Foods on 1010XL.
So good.
The live sports talk goes late every Wednesday live from the Millhouse with Ken Mara, Chuck Elliott, and Ron
Did you see that
Compton.
photo?
It's
It's like
Compton
the
and
guy,
Company brought
and
to
he's
you by
turning around,
United Rentals.
he's yelling at his girl. He's like, my girl's gonna be in an abusive relationship all week because of the Jaguars.
92.5 FM.
Girls just want to talk football. More helmets and heels. Built by Dreamfinders Homes.
Presented by Underwood Jewelers and American Window Products.
Now on 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Well, it's a Tuesday after the AFC Championship game, so that means why not pick the Super Bowl pick, right?
By the way, Damon tweeted in, Tyler is clearly hitting the brown water with the color reference.
Oh, I'm telling you.
A, thank you for listening, Damon, and B, I totally agree.
Yes.
Let me throw this question to you guys. Can Jay Cutler not execute the game plan that they've had basically all year that Blake Bortles has had? Be very limited, dump the ball off, do that type of thing. I think Jay Cutler would be more successful.
Theoretically, yes. But I question his passion to still play. That would be my biggest hang up.
Teammates are going to want to play as hard for Cutler as they would for a guy that they really respect and trust. Nobody likes Cutler. Nobody.
Respect goes nowhere if you don't win.
I'm not bringing in Jay Cutler, by the way. I'm just saying he might be a better quarterback, but I'm not bringing him in, no.
I got no comments for those comments. That's bad all around. That Cutler even
The
made
Brian
us-
Hoyer question was interesting, though. I did.
Yeah.
Because I think I might take Brian Hoyer over Blake.
I absolutely would not.
So then I threw out the Jimmy G, and then
Of course, everybody's gonna be
Man
fine.
Crush over there said yes. I'd give up everything. Oh, that's
I would
adorable.
not have
Tyler.
a franchise left to go after Jimmy Garoppolo. And Donna, you have a Jimmy Garoppolo shirt. It's a 49ers shirt. I said you should give it to Tyler, since obviously he
No,
does
that's
have a man crush.
That's my Jimmy G shirt, which I said I could have worn in here today because that's neither Jags or Pats, so I
True,
would have been
very
neutral.
true.
But I wore neutral anyways.
Would
There's
you guys
nothing.
be interested in Sam Bradford?
No.
Or Teddy Bridgewater?
No.
Maybe Teddy. I would bring him in to compete. I wouldn't bring him in as a starter.
I don't know how he's
Sam
gonna
Bradford,
be after
though, is
that
not
injury.
reliable.
Yeah, no and no for me.
Yeah, no.
I don't like any of those options. Drew Brees is to me maybe Alex Smith, but Alex Smith couldn't get the Chiefs to beat the Titans. And to me, yeah, Bortles is better than everyone other than Drew Brees. And they're not. Why would the Saints let Drew Brees go?
He's not better than Alex Smith or Kirk Cousins. Definitely
that's
not.
what-
And
that's
question
what
mark
it's
around
to be.
Teddy Bridgewater. Because you don't know how he's going to play after that injury.
And yeah, I don't like him.
And he's a
at
Louisville
all.
boy.
All right, Donna, I'm gonna potentially lose this thing, so I have to go last. Is that right?
Yep. So we have picked all season long at least 4 to 5 picks. Not against the spread, straight up. Loser after the Super Bowl will end up having to do and partake in the TB12 diet for 1 week, which is a whole lot of avocado
Nothing.
ice cream and avocado toast.
And no coffee.
No
I
coffee.
don't even think toast is allowed in the Tom Brady.
No
well, if
carbs.
it's avocado toast, so it might
Oh,
be.
I see. Yeah, but no
Probably made
avocado
out of like
on toast.
coconut flour and.
Probably like avocado lettuce wraps or something. You're not. I don't know if you're
Right.
allowed to have carbs. And if you're allowed to have carbs, it's probably like whole grain.
Yeah, it's a whole lot
It
of
is,
nothing.
yeah.
Cardboard.
Quinoa is an allowed thing.
Yes, that's allowed, definitely. So right now, the total, Lauren has 42. So she is only 1 back.
Which it's astounding to me
Yes.
after doing so well the last 2 weeks that I didn't do better last week.
Yes.
Thanks to the Jaguars.
Well,
and the
you
Vikings.
picked both the losing teams, so you should have picked at least one, and then it would have made it really interesting. So you have 42. Blythe and Tyler are tied with 43, and I sit with 48. So
Donna is in the clear.
I'm not doing this diet.
No.
And I apologize to whoever has to lose and do the diet.
You know, I looked up stuff today since I am in last place. I figured I may as well mentally prepare myself.
Some doesn't look that bad.
Truth be told, with the way that I eat, the only things
Yeah.
that I would cut out, I'd only drink about a half a cup of coffee in the mornings. That won't be a problem to not do. And cheese. I love cheese.
Yeah.
Dairy is a big part of it. So cheese would be the hardest part for me. But, other
But
than
it's
that,
only
it's
a
not
week.
terrible. Yeah.
Like, we're not making you do this a month.
No.
Whoever it is, because I feel like I'm just talking to you. But
You are.
Tyler would have to
I'm
give up
losing.
alcohol at least for 1 week.
That would be hard.
Very
So
tough.
that would be tough. But you never know what could happen to your body in 1 week with giving up
Y'all
on
won't
this.
like
It's
me with no
almost-
coffee.
It is almost bathing suit season.
It is. So
I'm trying to look positively.
with that, because it is so close, we're going to go ahead and do a tiebreaker as well, and that will be the score of the game. So I need to know who you are choosing and what the score will be. I will start.
You don't even have
Doesn't
to
even
pick.
matter. But
I
I
don't even care about your picks.
I don't
kidding.
have to
I'm
give mine.
kidding.
I don't. I mean,
I want to hear it just for some intel.
I will go with New England. I think this is going to be very close. I know I talked last week thinking the game with the Jags was going to be close, but then in my gut I was like, I don't think it will be. But damn, I was wrong. And so yeah, it was very close. And I think the Eagles are very similar to Jacksonville with a very good defense and a very good running game. So I'm going to go with the Pats 27-24.
All right.
Tyler? I'm going to go with you.
I'm going with the Patriots as well, but a bigger score, 37-20.
Damn.
Wow. Okay.
I'm going to go Pats too, but 30-17.
30-17. Holy cow.
Well, then
That
obviously
means
you know who I'll be
you got to go with
taking.
Philly.
I got the Eagles.
Okay.
And it doesn't really matter my score prediction because if the
No,
Eagles
but you
win,
can give one if
oh
you
wait,
want.
if the Eagles win, then all three of us are tied.
So you need a score.
So I do need a score prediction. All right, I will go Eagles 24, Patriots 17.
Not bad. So 3 against 1.
And you know, I'm actually glad that it's coming to this, in the sense that this gives me something to watch the Super Bowl
Right.
for. Now I actually have a dog in the fight, which is funny because the
Literal.
Eagles are underdogs and they've
Right.
been playing off of that. And so it will be, I think, far more interesting. Hayes and I were talking about this. He's like, I don't want to watch. I just don't
Yeah,
care.
I
was
don't.
like,
I don't care either.
But he's like, you know what? What I need to do is like bet big on one team, and then that way I'll just be excited as I'll get out when the Super Bowl comes, and I'll be watching every play. But I read the stat today, and I had a feeling that both of y'all were going to pick the Patriots. Read a stat today that with the Patriots wearing their road white jerseys, 12 of the last 13 Super Bowl winners have worn white. How is that possible?
I don't know. It's hilarious. I love some of the prop bets that are out there already. Will Belichick announce retirement after the game?
Do you think he will?
This is what I could foresee happening with the two with the two coordinators gone. If they win again, why not both retire and just be like, you know what?
That'd be great.
Peace out.
Thanks.
And so then everybody will thank the Jags.
Yeah.
See, now we finally got the Pats out, and then you don't have to worry about New England anymore.
That will be fantastic.
Unless they get Garoppolo back, and then you're kind of screwed.
All right, Tyler, you were the only one of us that was up there. What was your trip like up to Boston and your experience?
Oh, it was an absolute roller coaster. It's too cold. I used to obviously be from Chicago, and I just don't miss that weather at all.
But it was
so
pretty
cold.
warm for that time of year.
Yeah, Sunday was really nice. The sun was out, and if you were sitting in the sun, it was a really nice day outside. But no, it was a really cool experience. The Patriots fans weren't as hostile as I thought. You got your handful that are just clowns. But
Like the drunken bunch, right?
yes, I mean, you saw your fair share of fights on the internet and stuff, but all in all, everything that I experienced was really, really cool. And the Patriots fans were all wishing us good luck and good game afterwards, and so it was a really cool experience, especially being in the press box. And I had never gone in the locker room afterwards in a Jags game, so that was my first time doing it. And it was
Your interviews were good.
Obviously, a pretty good game to do it at. So it was really cool, and the guys were really cool after toughest loss of the year, and for most of them, toughest loss of their careers. So all in all, great experience. I had a little family emergency that threw a curveball my way, but good time.
I'm happy to hear when my brothers went, they said, there was a ton of Jags fans.
Oh, a ton. Yes.
And they've been to 5 AFC Championship games. And they said this was the loudest away group that we've ever seen and heard.
That's awesome.
So be proud. You should really be proud of that. And they were all fantastic. They said no one, they weren't obnoxious. Nobody was stupid. It was a great experience.
The Jaguars had a team party at a bar called Game On. It's right
Yes,
next door to Fenway.
Saturday night.
And that place was sold out at like 6:30 for like a 7 o'clock party.
That's
And
awesome.
it's the Boston Teal Party,
The
right?
Boston Teal Party, correct. And there was a line going down the street. They had to set up a second alternative party for everyone that couldn't get in. I mean, they
That's awesome.
Overdid it. It was unbelievable.
Shout out to the fan base too, especially the diehards that made this season and the past 10 years, the culmination of this season all worth it. Because without those guys and girls, it really this is why we do this and why we continue to still watch this team is for seasons and moments like this.
See, and it makes me happy. Yes, being a fan of both, but knowing that the Jags fans that went there had a good experience, and no one was rude to them and obnoxious, and it wasn't like the Steelers
or the Bills coming to town, which was such a terrible
it's
representation on their fan base.
You should be proud of that, and you should be proud to be like, yeah, we're awesome people. We're not morons. It's just we love the game and we love our team and we respect everybody else. It's keep it nice and even keel. It's fine
unless we win.
I will tell you, Foxborough is a weird place. It's a really old town, and it was incorporated in 1778. It's one of America's oldest cities, but there's brick roads everywhere, and there's one way into Patriot Place and one way out. It is the worst traffic situation I've ever seen.
Just be happy that you went while it's actually Patriots Place, and it's not what it used to be, which is just a dump of a stadium in the middle of a field. That's all you had. There was nothing around. It was just plop, there's a stadium. It would be like going out to McClenny and all of a sudden there's Everbank. What?
But why haven't they built alternative routes if it's just one way in, one way out?
It's kind of like Dodger Stadium. Dodger Stadium is one way in, one way out.
It's a really small town. It's 18,000. Yeah. So it's someone really described it really well as saying it's like the St. John's Town Center, but putting an NFL stadium right in the middle. There's so much shopping and there's a casino nearby. There's Bass Pro and a bunch of
what is it called? The something experience or something like that. It's like a whole game day experience centered around. And I've heard from business types that sort of Shad Khan wants to model Everbank Field and Daly's Place around what Gillette does.
It's very I don't know, but I love that they have they have a few bars that are right around it, connected to it.
CBS Sports restaurant that's you can oversee the field from the actual restaurant. It's really cool.
Right.
Yeah, from all the friends that I had that went, they had a blast, and certainly not the way you wanted it to end when, especially for my friends who went to both the Steelers and the Patriots, talk about just enormous joy in one spectrum and then crushing defeat in the other, but certainly an absolute blast. Yeah, it's been awesome to see the pictures of people who have been fans, when they were little, their parents took them, and now they're all grown up and, they've got kids of their own, and it's just it's fun to finally have this Jaguars team as a talking point that's bringing everyone together in a good way. Before it's brought people together because they're talking about the draft, and now we're talking about playoffs and Super Bowl and a whole lot.
I just need a break. I need a break from football.
All right, coming up next, we will look ahead. No, sorry, Blythe, we're not getting away from football. We have 2 more segments to go, all on football. No, the very last segment, we'll get away from football. But coming up next, we are going to look ahead to next year. Keep it right here on Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes on 1010XL. Lauren Brooks here for the brand new Dreamfinders Homes Community Preserve at Ponte Vedra Lakes. These are new homes starting from the 500s with access to A-rated St. Johns County schools less than a mile from the Ponte Vedra beaches. The Preserve at Ponte Vedra Lakes is conveniently located to shopping, dining, and several prestigious golf courses, and close to JTB for an easy commute to downtown and the St. Johns Town Center. Call Cindy at 460-4955 to reserve your Preserve at Ponte Vedra Lakes home today.
The biggest games are played here.
I don't know.
He's looking to throw towards the end zone. Touchdown! 1010XL.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, you are a
I saw that. He was wearing his jersey.
What kind of watch do you wear?
Tony showed
I think I've told this story 1,000 times. The watch I wear is a Rolex. Here's why. When my grandfather gave me a gift for graduating from college,
last time I saw Hacker, he said he was going to talk to Steve Griffin about us doing a Disney podcast.
Some 35 years later,
do you want to join in on the Disney podcast?
The day I got it. Today I'll always remember. This might be the right time for you to create the same kind of memory, and nothing does it better than a Rolex from Underwood. Whether it's a lady or a man,
more adult.
the Rolex Oyster has classic good looks
it's a lot. And with Epcot in particular, they only allow employees in that, there's 11 different countries or whatever country you're working in, you have to be on a visa from that country in order to work in that section. So it's super authentic. I guess as authentic as you can get.
Underwood
how
Jewelers.
great is it that
Hello
you
here
know,
for
the
Remedy
Jags
Staffing. If you're
coaches
looking for a
aren't
job full of
coaching
part-time, it's
the
as
Super Bowl.
easy as going to
You know?
I know, it's like we're a real franchise.
It's like the
Business
first
owners,
time in how
if
many
you
years?
need to hire,
Haven't they
lean on
been?
Jacksonville.
Honestly, I came into the
Trust
season
in
with a lot of
them, and do
questions
all the
just
work
because
for
they
you.
kept a lot of
Just
it
go
the
to
same.
RemedyStaffJax.com.
Did you make New
So I was
Year's
like, we're gonna be
resolutions? Well, here's
Right.
one
Talking about the
maybe you
draft.
didn't think to
Right.
make, but
I
hear
want
me
to do
out.
like
I think you're going
I
to
want to do
agree
like an
that
end
this
of the
is
year
a really
video.
good
I was
idea,
gonna wait
actually.
until
Laser hair
giving
removal at
myself a few
Ideal
days.
Image, the advanced med
Look
spa.
at there.
Here's why.
Baker Mayfield
Think about
going to the
embarrassing
Redskins.
unwanted hair
Have fun
on
with
your
that.
body. Yes, this is for you
No,
too,
that's better
guys.
for
We all
us.
have
We can
embarrassing
sign Kirk
unwanted hair.
Cousins.
And now think about the times you've had to ask somebody to shave your back. I mean, think about your
So
neck
some
and how
said that
irritated
they
it
had
gets
him
from
going to
shaving.
Miami. I'm like,
Think about being
you want that guy going to South Beach?
I'd want
You're
it just.
asking for
I wouldn't want it as a
lot of
Miami
trouble.
fan, but I'd want it as a football fan, so I could have something to talk about. That boy would probably have 6 different girls every night.
We'll have to do like, as the Super Bowl does prop bits, we'll have to do some like funny prop bits for next year. You know?
Leading into the season.
Yeah. Like, how many times does Mayfield get in trouble? Over under 2, you know?
Poor Baker. Oh, he jumped, boy. We're watching Senior Bowl highlights right now. I said I wasn't going to watch any more football.
1010XL, 92.5 FM.
I'm Jeff Middlecall for Trustline Mortgage. My business partners, Alan Tyre, Bill Pappas, and Ken Remley, want to make sure that everyone knows what we do. Mortgages. We're not concerned about credit cards or car loans.
Braces already on their knees? Do they normally wear braces on their knees?
Yeah, I think all of Alabama guys do. I think all the Gators. Don't they?
It depends.
I wonder if that's more detrimental.
I don't think it's detrimental. I think it's more
Preventive.
Yeah, preventive.
So the stitches.
Yeah.
Do you think it was fake?
No.
No.
Why?
That's what I just heard.
No, I enjoy
Conspiracy theories, you know.
I enjoy the one. I watched the Today Show, and Dylan Driver's a Pats fan, and so she goes, "I heard that the injury was actually him getting a 6th finger put on for his 6th birthday." I'm like, "That's funny, Dylan." See how that was?
You motherfucker.
I'm like, that's actually a funny one. No, this isn't like the bloody sock. I mean,
I almost asked. We had this Patriots chick on. I would have asked if she wasn't so bad at the interview, but I was going to ask if this was going to be Brady's bloody sock game.
Right. I mean, did you watch? Did you watch the beginning of the game? And it was just
Tom Brady. He ran out and he ran past the Jaguars and looked at them. And I heard that him and Jalen were jawing at each other a little bit, but you couldn't tell what they were saying.
No, I mean like.
I really wanted to hear
like
that
Nance,
from a soul.
Nance and Romo were just keyed in on the hand, and it was just silent forever. And they're just like, "There's a hand. All right, what's he gonna do?" And even Romo mentioned, "This is the longest we've ever gone with looking at a hand." I'm like, if you do not like the Patriots, you hate this game right now, and it hasn't even started. And it's just
one of the cool things about this whole season is seeing the other pro teams, the PGA Tour, the Orlando Magic, like all of these other squads that are supporting the Jags. Posting pictures about it. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I would say selfishly trying to get in on the buzz.
I'll take it.
You're listening to Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes.
Presented by Underwood Jewelers and American Window Products.
On 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Is this the drive around the NFL or something? Did I miss something? Isn't this the song that you play?
No, this is Lenny Kravitz's California.
I swear
different,
it
but I know
sounds
what you're
just
talking
like
about. It has a
the
similar
beginning,
beat.
right?
But we are technically driving around the AFC South as we take a look at which team is going to challenge the Jaguars for the division title next year.
None of these trash teams.
And there's your answer. All right, Donna, what you got?
This one's going to be very tough. Very, very tough. So you have Vrabel now with the Titans.
Trash.
Who's with the Texans. We don't know what type of head coach he will be. And you have McDaniels going to the Colts with maybe a healthy Andrew Luck. Who the heck knows?
Why do you think he chose the Colts over the Titans?
I don't know.
If he went to the Titans, I would be really worried.
I mean, maybe there's something he knows, obviously, about Andrew Luck that we don't.
But just
maybe he has an idea of a different quarterback he's going to draft, and he likes that.
Maybe he saw that ownership gave Mike Mularkey an extension, and then a week later was like, no, you know what, we're going to fire you. Sometimes you look at how the management or ownership treats the existing coach, and you say, yeah, I'm going to go in a different direction.
But that's exactly why I wouldn't go to the Colts, because they're such of a disaster from an organizational standpoint. And with the Titans in particular, they wanted to keep Mularkey. They wanted to keep him and give him an extension, but Mularkey didn't want to fire anybody.
Well, and
he didn't want to make any changes. So instead of firing one guy, everybody got fired.
And McDaniels is so familiar with the Colts organization for the Pats and Colts playing for so many years against each other, especially when Manning was there. So maybe he has some familiarity.
I don't know. Irsay is such a basket case, though, as far as an owner is concerned. It's just...
maybe they promised him more leeway and, more, not ownership, but, more freelance of doing whatever you want than Houston.
Having more control of the personnel.
Yeah, than Houston was. But this is a tough question. It really is. I want to say Houston for the fact of... the talent is there.
Mm-hmm. They were all injured this year.
However, I think McDaniels the second time around will be a much better coach than maybe the other three. So, but it depends. Is Luck going to be healthy? Is he going to be good? Is it going to... I don't know. I'm juggling.
It's still up in the
Who's
air
your
with
final
Luck.
answer?
I'm going to go with Houston.
All right.
I'm going to... The talent is there for them.
That's exactly who I think it is, because
I think it's far and away Houston.
Their quarterback came in and looked fantastic. The defense, returns J.J. Watt, Whitney Merciless, Jadeveon Clowney.
But now a basket case is Bill O'Brien to me. That's why I'm like, I don't know. Are you actually going to start Watson? Like, are you dumb or are you not dumb
he'll
this
start
year?
him.
No, he had him starting once he played the half against the Jaguars in the very first game. He started until he got hurt.
Right.
I can understand why you could make a case for the Titans. I mean, they were the other AFC South team in the playoffs. But to me, they're a team that they don't know how to finish games. Mm-hmm. And I think they got a little bit lucky to even get into the playoffs. Mm-hmm. I don't put any faith or trust in them. I definitely think it's the Texans. What do you think, Tyler?
I'd probably go with the Texans. Everyone's back on defense. Deshaun Watson's back. DeAndre Hopkins might be the best receiver in the league besides Antonio Brown. I'd probably put my money on Houston.
See, if we're all going Houston, that's why it's not going to be Houston.
Well, this is the team to challenge the Jaguars, not necessarily the team that's going to win the division.
No, the Jaguars should absolutely win the AFC South next year and compete in the AFC Championship Game. And if it doesn't, then anything less than that is a disappointment. But the only team to really challenge them, and I think that they do get in on a wild card, is the Houston Texans, because they do have the answer at the quarterback position if Deshaun Watson can stay healthy. And then that rest of that squad gets healthy. They were really banged up. I think they were missing something like 9 starters on their team whenever the Jaguars played them for the second time this year. And with the Titans, there's too much. They have Mariota, and he made some really surprising plays to me in this postseason that really kept that season alive. But Mike Vrabel. We're going to get used to that. That's going to be a little challenge.
He's a bucket.
Yeah, so with Indy, though, with McDaniels, if it's going to be Andrew Luck, it's going to be Andrew Luck. If not, he has Jacoby Brissett, who he is familiar with.
And he was quite good.
And he was very good. So maybe he's a mobile quarterback. He has a lot of utilities that can be used.
Holds the ball too long, though.
So, so maybe that's one reason why he went to Indy, that I know I have this quarterback at least, and I can work with him, and I know a game plan of what I can scheme and whatnot.
Maybe it's more of a clean slate with a quarterback option, a really good quarterback option and a really good backup option, because the rest of that Colts team, there really isn't. I mean, you got T.Y. Hilton, you have maybe Frank Gore, who's going to go into retirement possibly this offseason, and then the rest of it, he can sort of have his way with that roster.
They need to bulk up in both free agency and draft.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be probably a 3-year plan for McDaniels.
Right.
Vegas, by the way, has the Texans with the same odds as the Jaguars to win the Super Bowl in 2019, so at 20-1. So therefore, that means that not just all of us agree that it's the Texans, but Vegas does too. Then again, Vegas had the Jaguars winning only six games this year,
right.
and so sometimes Vegas is wrong.
That's why we're all two on the same page, so it can't be Houston.
Well, that's
not going to be Houston.
Yeah, that's like
It's just the only clear answer right now.
SEC Media Days, like whichever team the media picks other than Alabama on the West, whichever team the SEC Media picks on the East,
it's not.
Which was Florida last year and hadn't been the 2 years that they won it. Exactly, is not. All right, outside of football, what are your off-season plans? And really off-season meaning kind of the spring, because football starts all over again in the summer with the training camp, rookie mini camp.
Well, you got NASCAR, you got Daytona 500 starting. You got golf. Tiger's back.
I do like Tiger a lot.
Team
Tiger.
But the
Any
NBA
plans to go anywhere?
No. The NBA is still going on. Hockey's still going on. So
I'm taking a break from football for about a month, at least a month, and then I want to take some trips. No, I might watch some highlights on Twitter. Will not be watching. Probably won't be watching the Super Bowl. And I say that now, I'm probably lying. But then after that, I'm for serious taking a football break. For serious. And
there's no football on, so it's hard
Well,
to
you digest the news. It's not just watching the football games. It's catching all the coverage. It's listening to the daily sports shows. I listen and I read so much more just so I can feel like I'm prepared. So a lot of that will get cut down. I definitely want to do some traveling. I want to try to hit South America, and I definitely want to hit a trip to the tropics, and I definitely want to go to Disney. So I got to start making some money. And
this is all before July?
Yeah, for sure.
That's a lot
definitely. Maybe New York too. I did see a lot of pictures of some friends that were in New York, and I definitely want to go back.
You talk about preparing and watching coverage and stuff. I was watching like all the post game I could. I was watching from NFL networks to CBS 47, which Dan and Brent did a phenomenal job.
Marcel too. I saw Marcel on the pregame coverage.
It was a lot of fun to watch all of that, and of course TJ gets caught up in me watching whatever Brady or Belichick, and he's like, seriously, for 2 weeks I have to watch this crap. I'm sorry. Go in another room.
I forgot what that's like already.
Yeah, he was not happy, so my next 2 weeks is at least scheduled.
You gotta watch it in the bathroom by yourself or something.
This might be the first time that I ever watched the Pro Bowl. I don't think I've ever sat down and said, okay, I'm going to tune into the Pro Bowl.
Do we know why Calais gave up his spot?
Yeah, he suffered a knee injury in the game against the Patriots and the loss.
I didn't know if he was being a phenomenal teammate and letting Ngakoue have the start or not. So
I'm sure there's that mixed in there that it's not something that he
was
really
limping pretty bad in the locker room.
But
he went for an X-ray immediately.
Yeah, he was banged up for the majority of the second half. So there will be 5 Jaguars in the Pro Bowl. So I just want to see how they do if they play hard at all.
They're not going to play hard. It's a Pro Bowl.
It's still though. I love football. I'm the opposite of you. If there was a football game tomorrow, I'd be watching it. I'm not excited about the Super Bowl itself because the Jaguars aren't in it. But the Senior Bowl coverage, I'll watch that. I can't get enough of it. Even
you need a hobby, girl.
I don't see with the defense.
Just do it for my job, so therefore it's not to me. That's all I have to do.
I don't see how that NFC offense is going to score against this AFC defense.
Oh, for God, they're not. They don't play defense in the Pro Bowl.
Come on, it's fun.
I went down. I actually went down.
We'll be talking.
Yeah, they'll be talking. Ramsey isn't even going, is he?
Yeah.
He is going. Oh, I guess he did make that.
I heard in the locker room him making some vacation plans, so I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't play, but he hasn't made any announcements like that.
I think it's only been Telvin and Ngakoue that have officially said that they're going to play.
Well,
everybody else
it's coming up pretty fast. So
so you kind of got to make that decision. But
I think so. But camping. I want to go camping sometime next month. I don't know where yet. I got to figure that out.
I got to go camping too. Add that to the list.
And then I would like to do vacation, although I don't know exactly when that could be because coming up in March, there's March Madness and our spring training trip. But I'm thinking Puerto Rico or Costa Rica sometime. I think that it would be a much needed trip because I've worked a lot, just like we all have over the last few months, and have not had very many days
That's why
off.
I needed a month off, but I ain't going to get it. But a month off from football.
Let's see, concerts. I already have concerts booked and friends that are getting married. So I feel like enough to look forward to pull me out of the haze that is this loss. All right, CVS made a bold move. We'll tell you whether or not we agree with them pulling beauty products off the shelves that have airbrushed pictures. That starts in April. We'll weigh in on that next. You're listening to Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes on 1010XL.
Sports Talk Radio.
Oh, Lion King's coming up this weekend. No, next weekend.
So what?
Lion King Broadway show.
Here?
Yeah. I think they had to book another show because it got sold out pretty quickly.
Nice.
This will be my third time seeing it. I saw it in New York on Broadway. Brought tears to my eyes. It was so good.
That's cool.
And then when it came here in Jackson the last time, and my mom got tickets. She's a theater person.
You gonna go with her again?
Oh yeah. It's like a girls' night. It's a girls' thing. I told her too. I was like, that's the night before the Super Bowl. If the Jaguars playing in the Super Bowl, we might have to reschedule it. She's like, I can't reschedule. I got these tickets months ago.
Yeah, I feel bad. JT got a birthday invitation, and I'm like, the 4th, 9 o'clock. That's really pushing it. Super Bowl Sunday. I'm on a birthday party. I'm gonna say, TJ, you can bring JT. Go ahead.
Because I sort of realized this over the Christmas holiday with the 3 Jaguar games, home games in a row, all the holiday parties and things to do. And, just saying yes to everybody. I was like, I need a month where I don't say yes to everybody. I want to be able to say yes to everybody. I want to go to every friend's thing. I want to go to every birthday party. I want to go to every baby shower. But I need a mental break from obligations to other people. I want to serve myself first for the next month. So I have a massage scheduled for later this week.
Good for you.
Take a little mental football break and then be ready for a recharge.
Nice. No, he can't.
Gone all week.
Tom Hanks says he's never been approached to star in a James Bond movie. Tom, I love you. Of course you're not going to. But could he play a villain? Please don't play a villain.
Harrison Ford played a villain in a couple different movies, and it fucked me up. It really did.
Don't play a villain.
You can't have your heroes playing villains. He was in a scary movie, too. That Michelle Pfeiffer, did you ever see that? What Lies Beneath?
No.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's
Like
she's laying in a tub.
Yeah,
right
like
now.
murdered his wife, murdered his girlfriend, and he comes back. No.
Nope.
Harrison, you do not do that.
Ooh, I'm going to vote Tom Hanks. Yay, everybody voted Tom Hanks.
My buddy Anthony said you're definitely watching the Super Bowl. Stop tripping.
Okay, so this Shape of Water, whatever, that movie's, I haven't seen it, and it's freaking me out just looking at
I haven't
photos.
seen any of these Oscar
I
movies.
haven't either.
That's another thing. I need to catch up on my movies. I just started up with Netflix again. I got so many things to do and see that having a break from football is going to be really nice.
See this one? ESPN will speak with Peyton about Monday night.
Oh, no.
Okay, well, that'll be no more Monday night. Just mute it.
I don't really even watch Monday night anyways.
My mom was like, I can't believe Donna doesn't like Peyton. I like Peyton a lot. I just don't get it.
Nope, no Pats fan likes Peyton.
But
Which I'm
not that
surprised.
mutual respect there?
No.
Really? Because I hate, after this weekend, I don't want to, hate is a strong word. But I was going to say, I hate the Patriots, but I respect Tom Brady. But I don't, it's not the right time to say I don't hate them, but.
Because it was always those two against each other. And obviously Pats fans are like, I don't understand why you're choosing Peyton as the best. He is not the best just because he has this record or that record.
Well, he's not better than Brady, but I still think he's really good.
That back when they were having the conversation, that's why we don't. Stop it. So it's gotten that, drilled into us.
The
blinders. We're like, ah!
It's like me saying Mariota isn't good.
Oh, that as loud.
You're listening to Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes.
Presented by Underwood Jewelers and American Window Products.
On 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
So our friend Alicia tweeted us and said, please tell me you ladies are on location tonight because I don't want to make dinner. And I said, well, we're not on location tonight, but next week we'll be live from the brand new Dreamfinders Home Stadium Home 2.0. And if you would like to join us for the catered home tour and the live viewing of our broadcast, tomorrow head to 1010xl.com and click on the link and you will be registered to join us for an always fun live broadcast there.
If you have not seen that new home,
it's beautiful.
Sick.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
They have a helicopter landing pad.
It is just
kind
sick.
of.
It's beautiful and the food's always fantastic. They treat us right. And there's drinks for people who are over 21. So come and hang out and have fun. Again, that link will go up tomorrow on 1010xl.com. All right, CVS is not going to sell beauty products that have airbrushed pictures starting in April, because they want to make sure that women are not comparing themselves to what is really fake perfection. What do you think, ladies?
It's going to make me not want to buy it.
Yeah, are they going to stop selling makeup and razors and hair dye too? Like, come on.
We know as women, whatever makeup I buy, I know I'm not going to look like the photo.
But you're smart enough to know that. I don't know that necessarily teens, when they first see that, will know that that's not what they're going to look like if they haven't necessarily experimented with makeup before.
Well, that's where I'm going to go.
YouTube.
That's where I'm going to. Yeah, nowadays it's social media. Anything.
Yeah.
But I'm going to pull like the mom card that you had. Like, why are you buying makeup anyways? Like, I wore makeup for the reason of dance, so I had the caked on crap, and I never wanted to wear makeup outside of that. But it's common sense. If you don't have common sense to know you're not going to look like that, you shouldn't be buying makeup anyways.
Right.
Because if you're wearing makeup, I want to know why you're wearing makeup, what you're going to go do while you're wearing makeup, because that common sense is not going to lead to any good decisions.
See, I totally disagree that in the fact that I think airbrushing is stupid. I understand why they have it, because they want people to buy more magazine covers, or they want people to click on that internet picture. I understand the reasoning behind it. But if you are trying to better women's self-confidence, and I think in this day and age, that's an important thing when we see stories out there like this Dr. Nasser crap and other stories we've discussed at length on this show, women need to feel more confident about themselves in a variety of different situations. And looking at someone's freckles and then seeing them with foundation on, but you can still see the freckles, I'm perfectly fine with that. Then I know, okay, when I put that foundation on, my freckles are still going to show. Then I can make my buying decision based off of whether I want my freckles to show or whether I want to buy the makeup that, covers those, and I don't even know how that would happen because I don't wear that much makeup. But that's where I feel like I'm making a more informed buying decision, because I'm able to see what the woman actually looks like wearing that product. I don't want to see the perfect eyeliner, the liquid eyeliner that's done perfectly, if that's not really what it looks like, if they've had to use
Well,
Photoshop.
eyeliner's a skill. You gotta practice the skill. And makeup is a skill too. It's it's artistic. You gotta be able to practice in order to make it look good, and part of that has nothing to do with the posters that they show. I think this is a marketing ploy by CVS, and I don't know that it's not right or it's not wrong, but it's just whatever. You're not gonna stop selling makeup. You're not gonna stop selling hair dye kits. Women and people in general, it's okay to want to look good and want to look better, but I don't think that I think an overwhelming majority of people look at an advertisement and know that they're not going to look exactly like that.
I mean, that's the same thing. It's not just makeup. It's the same thing with shampoo.
Nail polish is another one.
Yeah.
Your nails aren't going to look like that unless you practice.
Yeah, you're going to tell me that one brand is going to make your hair nice and fluffy and full. I'm sorry, there's other products that evolve with making it that much full.
And techniques and hair drying and hair tools.
It's not just, but I mean, I feel bad because that's just common sense. I buy it because it smells good and it doesn't make my head itch. That's basically it,
I think their bigger point is to try and make sure that women understand that the women that they're trying to kind of achieve, that look that they're trying to achieve, is not this perfect look. Like, no matter how good you are at makeup, hair, nails, getting dressed, every person is going to look unique, and each person is going to have awesome things about themselves and also flaws that they can't necessarily cover up. And if you take an image and you airbrush everything that's potentially wrong with it, and then that's what a woman is seeing, she is going to automatically think, I'm not as good as said image.
I've never thought that in my life.
Okay, I'm just saying that's where I think they're coming from about this.
Right, and if you find a teenage girl, though, that doesn't have any insecurities, congratulations. Because all of the teenage girls out there have insecurities because they're teenage girls, especially in the social media age where you can post anything on Instagram. And I even know this, and I don't have Instagram, but you can post it and then fix it to make it look flattering to yourself.
Sure.
That's ridiculous.
And that's, that's teaching.
Filters.
Yeah,
that's filters.
But
young
that's women
awful.
that they're not good enough the way that they are.
No.
The social media part notwithstanding, but that's what CVS is trying to say is no matter what you look like, we're going to have products that enhance your natural beauty versus try and take you from the way you look now and completely change it to look like said person, said model who weighs 90 pounds and has never had a blemish in her life because she gets skin treatments that are exorbitantly expensive.
But that's also to each their own. If you want to get the skin treatments done, get them done. I think any reasonable person is seeing is almost blind to those kind of advertisements nowadays. I don't remember once ever seeing some kind of advertisements like that when I was a kid, and it deterred me or made me want to buy a certain product. It was just you bought it because you wanted to experiment with it. I've been buying makeup since I was 13, 14 years old, and I've always bought a lot with it and experimented with it, and it was a fun hobby, and it still is a fun hobby for me. But I think this is a marketing ploy by CVS. Do they have a good reasoning behind it? Sure, but you're not going to stop selling all of the other beauty products that improve your overall look. And who's to say that person that they're showing in the picture isn't already beautiful, and they just they airbrushed a little bit of it, or maybe they photoshopped a little bit of the flyaways of her hair, and maybe her eyebrow hair was a little bit out of whack or something like that. There isn't a ton of airbrushing that goes on, but there is a lot of photoshopping that goes on.
Well, and if you look at the picture side by side that is on this story for CVS, the woman, her skin looks very different in the picture where she is normally with makeup on, and then the picture where she is airbrushed or photoshopped, regardless of how you put it. If you were on the cover of a magazine, would you want the airbrushing and the photoshopping?
Heck yeah.
Done? Yeah, right?
Yeah, I have no idea. Just whatever. You work hard to be able to
paint me like one of your French girls.
You work hard just to. If you have to be in a magazine or anything like that, you want to look good.
Yeah, that's right. You've been in a magazine.
No, when I'm buying, say, Victoria's Secret or stuff from Venus, like I'm looking through, and if it's a model that doesn't have, I would say, kind of anywhere close to my body type, I'm probably not looking at it. So I'm looking at something that's similar. I understand I am not 5'11" and 110 pounds. So what looks good on her is not going to look good on me. That's not going to happen.
A lot of brands, too, though, are embracing different body types. And right. I do see the movement there where you're getting away from one centralized look of like a white woman who is under 100 pounds and she's blonde hair, blue eyes. I get that, and moving towards more representation of the overall society.
Target does a really good job.
And you want to cater towards those different markets, especially when it comes to hair coloring, to hair tools, to the clothing that you wear, how it fits. It's all about equal representation for everybody, but I don't, an advertisement and whether or not, this is not going to make me go shop at CVS because they're doing this. I'm not going to go out of my way to go shop at CVS because they choose to not show an airbrush person.
Like with eyeshadow, for instance, if I'm looking for that, I'll look just for the photo of just the eye. The closed eye with however they designed it. I'm not looking at the person and their skin tone. It would just be, now those are good colors. I know those will go well with my eyes. It's just something simple like that. So the airbrushing doesn't bother me, but I do understand. But no teeny bopper. Congratulations if you have self-esteem, because it should not be there when you're 16.
Well, I think, and that's why I think the movement is bigger than just the actual makeup products, because CVS is saying, you know what, if this helps, and maybe it won't, but if this helps women walk into our store and feel more confident about themselves, and therefore then, if obviously from their side of things, if then they spend more money because they feel more confident, then that's great for us, and they do get their name out there as kind of a trendsetter for something like this. I think most people do look at it, and most women, the first second they think is like, I want to look like that. I think that's how people are drawn into certain things. And so CVS is going, okay, well, if we can get them to say, I already look like that, and I want to look like that, then we're able to kind of make their shopping easier. And I understand, like, you're willing to experiment, and that's awesome. I think there are some people who are like, I don't want to buy it unless I absolutely know it's going to work.
But are they going to have multiple advertisements of various different skin tones representing all ethnicities, various skin tones, and if you have oily skin or if you have dry skin or combination, there's a lot. This is why I think it's all fluff that CVS is doing this, because they're not going to give equal. They're going to say, yeah, we're not going to do this, but you're not going to give equal representation to all of everybody's different. And you're not going to be able to show all of those off within one CVS store, which is why I think this is nothing but a marketing ploy.
Right. I mean, then you have the ageism coming into it.
That
too. You got the wrinkles. You have the forehead wrinkles, the eye wrinkles, the smile wrinkles. Go to
YouTube for your beauty advice. Don't go to CVS advertisements.
If you want to win tonight's Peterbrook Chocolate Heel, text in 641-1010, text line driven by Duval Ford. And tell us
your favorite mascara.
that would make you have to choose, Tyler, and I don't know if you have a favorite.
The answer is tart. The answer is tart.
But if you remember Blythe's New Year's resolution, text into the text line driven by 641-1010. Whatever Blythe's, she had several New Year's resolutions. If you get any of those, you are tonight's winner of the Peterbrook Chocolate Heel. They are delicious and fantastic.
Better be nice with those answers.
And for a lot of us right now who may be, still thinking about the loss on Sunday, some chocolate will certainly lift your spirits.
It will.
So again, 641-1010, and then Tyler will tell us his favorite brand of mascara before the show is over. All right, Tiger Woods, y'all. He is back playing at Torrey Pines this weekend. He will make his first start of the PGA Tour at the Farmers Insurance Open. Will you be locked in, Donna?
Yeah, we'll record it. Yeah, for sure. Torrey Pines, so it's one of his best. There's not many stadiums out there that he hasn't been good in, but Torrey Pines is one of them. And he's paired with Patrick Reed.
Oh, that's cool.
So that'll be a fun pairing, because I don't think there's two other more excitable players, especially when Tiger was in his prime, than those two. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Nice. And for sure, TJ will make sure that we are recording that, yes.
Why record instead of watch live?
Because, I don't know, just in case we're out.
Will you watch all 4 days of it?
Yeah, we'll fall asleep to that.
Holy crap.
We're big into golf.
I like
California,
golf a lot,
so the schedule's a little bit different than the East Coast.
We're big into golf, so yeah.
But what?
I'm not watching all 4 days. Heck no.
Well, he might not make the whole 4 days.
Will you tune in on Sunday if Tiger's in the mix?
Oh, yeah.
Even if I guess Tiger's not.
I am not, unless it's the Players or the Masters, I'm not watching 4 days of golf. I'm catching the highlights at the end of the day, unless Tiger is in it, or unless like a younger guy like a Rory or Ricky are in it. Now Spieth is sort of boring to me. I know I've said this before. He's like talking to a potato. He's just there's no life in him.
Because he's friends with Brady.
Well, I will say no. I'm not going to comment on my feelings for Brady, because I think you know that I do like him, but I'm not allowed to say that this week. But I do think that Jordan Spieth had a little bit of a personality that showed last season whenever he started hanging out with Ricky Fowler and the other young guys. And that's what I want to see more. I want to see these guys and their personality. I'm tired of the boring golf and, the Matt Kutchers of the world. I want to see some excitement, and those guys bring excitement to the game. And so does Tiger. Tiger is a barometer as far as ratings are concerned. And there's the Tiger bubble still exists. And I'm still rooting for him, want him to win, a ton of majors and lead that charge. But hopefully it starts this weekend.
I love Matt Kuchar. You can't help but smile when you see him,
so
because all he does is smile. He's so happy and nice.
Yeah. He's a nice guy. Tiger has won 7 times at Torrey Pines. So when it comes to my fantasy golf league, that'll be the interesting thing is to see.
You gonna pick him?
I probably will not pick him because we haven't seen him in competitive play in too long. I mean, obviously, like a month ago he was kind of in it.
Is this your first
No.
tournament?
No, this is our third tournament. No, fourth tournament. We picked both the Hawaii tournaments, and then we had the one last weekend. I did not do well last weekend. But, yeah, it'll be interesting to see if people pick Tiger Woods. To me, you sit on Tiger. This is a one-and-done league. So, to me, you sit on Tiger, and you don't play him until you know he's back in good form. But, certainly this is a golf course. The first year I played fantasy golf, I picked him to win this one, and he did. He's fun to watch, and I'm glad that he's going to be involved. I am interested to see if he's in the mix on Sunday. Is he the same Tiger as of old? Does he wear the red polo? I'm sure he will.
Oh, I'm sure he will.
But does he still have that intimidating factor over these young guys?
Intimidating, I don't think.
Yeah, I think that's lost, to be honest.
But, you're talking about a guy that these guys understand the reason that they get paid so much and the reason that golf is so successful is because of him. Mm-hmm. So certainly there's a respect factor. They haven't really ever had to play against him.
Well, I take it back to that one. I think it was the late show. It was one of the late night shows, and Rory McIlroy was on with Tiger, and Rory was talking about Tiger in the past tense, and you could see a little bit of Tiger dying inside on stage. He didn't really react to it, but I think you could see him dying a little bit when he was like, yeah, he was, and kept using past tense. So I don't think that there's that fear factor at all with these young guys.
Did you see Brady's?
I think that's because he hasn't been on the course with them yet. That's where I wonder if it does come into play.
But I think it's kind of like the Jalen Ramsey factor. Like, I want that challenge. I want to face off against Tiger in his prime. I think that they want it rather than being scared of it, like sort of the other guys that were facing off against Tiger at the same time. Guys like Phil Mickelson and the likes.
In Brady's post-game press conference, he mentioned Tiger when a reporter asked him about, did your injury hamper your play or something like that, and he smirked and said, no, not really. I guess that sounds kind of arrogant, kind of like Tiger saying I had my C game and he won a tournament. I was like, hey, it's a Tiger reference.
And if you're Brady, I guarantee that you
Let's wait to talk about all that stuff until next
Tiger Woods. And how could you not, right?
Right. I wonder who, when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, when we say, like, you have Michael Jordan, you have Tiger Woods, and then you have Brady. Who's the best of the best?
Might be Tiger. Because he won it by himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably go with Brady just because it's so hard to win in this league with the salary cap and all that.
I just worry about the team. There's so many guys that are responsible for a win in football.
It's hard, right? That's a good one, though.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just hard to, cross sport. But don't forget, next week we'll be live from the Dreamfinders Home Stadium Home 2.0. That will be from 7 to 9. And if you would like to join us, head over to 1010XL.com tomorrow and click on the registration link, and we will see you there. Thanks so much to our producer, Tyler Devitt. Glad he is back from New England. And for Donna Murphy and Blythe, I can't talk anymore. I'm still getting over this.
Mike Vrabel.
Blythe Brumleve. Yeah, I can
Chuck
say
Pagano
Vrabel.
or Parmigiano. I'll get these AFC coaches right.
I'm Lauren Brooks. Enjoy the rest of your night, and don't go anywhere. Stay tuned for Hacker After Dark. That's next on 1010XL.
Chuck Parmigiano.
It's because I had to golf.
That was funny.
At least it was this week and not next week when I'm coughing over people and food.
Right.
Thank you guys for tuning in. It's been one hell of a ride this season. Greatest season I've ever been a part of. Glad you guys enjoyed the show. We'll come back with some more announcements on our off-season plans here in the coming weeks. Until then, go Jags. Duval till we die.